One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Former President Obama was back out last night. This is the first time since he was in Pittsburgh and invoked the potential of sexism in his appeal to black men to support the vice president. Angela, should there be a course correction? Because there was so much backlash to that framework, was it a mistake for the former president to say what he did or to say it publicly? What was your assessment of what we heard from former President Obama?
You know, I think that it's wonderful that President Obama is out hitting the trail for democracy, frankly. And what I think is a mistake is to let white folks escape the accountability that they must face for not showing up to save democracy themselves. Like, they want to get mad at presidential candidates, right, when they don't wear a flag lapel pin or they don't see you pledging allegiance to the flag. That's what they want to get upset about. Now, the face of patriotism to them looks like trying to tear down the Capitol in a terrorist attack on January 6, 2021. So the responsibility of saving democracy should be on the largest demographic in this country. That is white men and white women.
It's your fault she's losing. You guys just don't get it. In order to basically save democracy from yourselves, you got to vote against yourself. That's specifically what she's saying. So only you can stop the person you want to elect, because you, as white people, should understand that you are the reason why Donald Trump is winning and Kamala Harris is losing. You gotta give them a big star for trying. You have to applaud their absolute insanity.
I don't want to see a women's march with pussy hats come January if something doesn't go right. What I want to see is for them to march themselves to the polls, including today. We are in Detroit, Michigan, for an early vote rally. In Michigan, early voting starts next Saturday, which is my birthday, Victor.
Happy birthday.
But today in Detroit, it starts today. There's a big event at Pistons Land. We will be adjacent to that event talking to folks. Detroit.
Now, unfortunately, I got some breaking news about this big event that Kamala was holding at this rally here in Detroit. Didn't go as well as planned.
Voters about what they want to hear, about the agendas that matter to them, about the economy, about health care, about ensuring that democracy is preserved, even if it's not perfect.
So, even if you don't like it, I'm sorry, people. It's not going to be perfect with Kamala. We know she's got flaws, but you need to go out and vote for her. It's your obligation. It's your duty to save democracy, even if it means voting against your own best interest.
We're doing our part. It's time for white folks to turn their ire and their attention to each other to ensure they also do their part.
Okay. Hold on a second. So in order for you to earn your way through here, you've got to go vote for the candidate that she wants. Sometimes I really think these people should travel beyond the realm of where they live, who they talk to, and who they work with. Because there's no other way for them to understand how completely bat poop crazy they sound. Because I'm sure she believes what she's saying. I am absolutely sure that she feels it's your fault because Trump's ahead of Kamala, and it's because you don't realize how important it is to vote for this somewhat black woman. But you have to learn. You must learn. And so what's happened over the last couple days as her numbers have just gone down the toilet, she's starting to lose with so many different demographics, they can't plug the holes. It's happening in such a wave at this point. We already know black men. We already heard about Hispanic men. Yesterday we talked about the Amish, which got a lot to talk about tomorrow when Trump's in Lancaster. I'm going to do a whole intro on the Amish. And now, being in Michigan, she's trying to save things, and now they're pissed off because the Arab American vote is turning on them. Big time.
Republicans love micro-targeting. That's sending messages directly to small groups of voters. If you're not in the group being targeted, you may never see them. Let's look at what you're missing. Here are some recent political ads that were micro-targeted to Muslim voters in the swing state of Michigan.
Vice President Harris has chosen a side, her right side. Harris has made herself clear. She stands with Israel and the Jewish people.
And joining Kamala will be her husband and top advisor, Doug Emhoff, who would be the first Jewish presidential spouse ever.
Kamala relies on her husband, Doug, for counsel on the toughest issues, like Israel's noble fight against the radical terrorists in Gaza. And when Doug talks, Kamala listens. Kamala and Doug, America's pro-Israel power couple.
That went to Muslim swing voters. Now, that's extremely cynical and I think kind of anti-Semitic, like there's a Jewish puppet behind the woman. Okay. That's one set of micro-targeted ads to Muslim voters. Now, here are some other ads run by the same pro-Trump PAC being targeted to Jewish voters in the swing state of Pennsylvania.
Two-faced Kamala Harris is secretly campaigning for Palestine and trying to get away with it.
In Jewish communities throughout America, questions are being asked. Why is she running ads pandering to Palestine? We must stand up to anti-Semitism. We say no more.
Kamala Harris, stop pandering to Palestine and stand with our ally Israel.
Wait, we were just told Kamala Harris stands with Israel, that she's super pro-Israel. She's part of a pro-Israel power couple. Now we're being told she stands with Palestine against Israel.
Oh, yeah, I'm on mute. Okay, let me go back. Thanks, SV. What I said was, do you find the irony in what this guy just said? The irony being, he's complaining about advertising. on a network that has been propaganda for Kamala Harris since the inception of her campaign. The inception. All they do is blast propaganda. And now he's complaining about advertising on his network. The same advertising where they accept tens of millions of dollars from all of these super PACs to promote Kamala Harris. The same advertising that pays his $1 million a year salary. And now he's complaining because Trump's advertising. These people wouldn't have any brain cells if they really looked themselves in the mirror and understood, hey man, you're being hypocritical, it's ironic, it's nuts, it's insane. The very nature of what you do every night when you get on that television and you blah, 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 blah. You enjoy reading everything, complaining about what Elon Musk does, and you complain about how much, the super PACs are spending. It's paying your salary. And I don't think enough people who watch television truly understand these people don't exist without advertising. It goes away. They make no product. They sell nothing. There's nothing on a shelf that says MSNBC. The only thing they sell, as the movie City Slicker, they sell air. They sell the ability for an advertiser to put their products in front of their audience. That's it. And this guy is complaining because now even the advertising isn't fair.
You see the issue here, right? Those two sets of ads can't both be true. They're diametrically opposed and mutually exclusive, but they're both made by the same pro-Trump political action committee to micro-target and manipulate vastly different groups of voters. It is the grossest, most cynical ploy I've seen in an election cycle that's rotten with cynical ploys.
You realize he just described advertising. If somebody wants you to basically eat chicken, they're going to put on the advertisement, the commercial that influences you to eat chicken. If you're watching a game on Sunday, everything you see is usually buy a car, buy insurance, and buy something to eat. Because they know the eyeballs are watching that football game and they're like, hey, these are people who are just sitting in front of their television. They'll be here for the next 3 hours. Good, they're going to get hungry. Here's some Buffalo Wild Wings. Hey, you thinking about buying a car? Here's a Ford F-150. You sell nothing. You sell air. And he's bitching about other people running ads.
It's all made possible by the world's richest man, Elon Musk, who has given $75 million to the super PAC that's bankrolling all of those micro-targeting campaigns.
Who's voting for Kamala Harris here?
So what's very interesting is that he doesn't talk about the money that comes from, that Soros guy that enables Kamala to do the exact same thing on other networks. They have nothing. At this point, it's falling apart. They're trying to save things. They're trying to put their put their fingers in the holes in the dam, and they can't do it. And so now, someone else on his network, on MSNBC, decides she's going to go and do a poll and talk to some Arab American voters. This is quite revealing.
Harris here. Absolutely no.
No.
These are Arab Americans, the same people that Chris Hayes was just complaining about being advertised to. She goes and does a focus group and says, hey, how many of you people are voting for Kamala Harris? Nope, not gonna happen. Nope, not at all.
Not possible.
There's nothing she can do or say for us to change our mind.
Business.
So understand, there's nothing she can do or say. So let's take them off the board. Black men, Hispanic men, the Amish, and now Arab Americans. Not all of them, of course, but enough where it turns into, as Trump said last night, a potential landslide. She couldn't believe she was talking to these people, and they're like, no, ain't gonna happen. I'm pretty sure she thought she was walking into a home game and that everyone was going to raise their hand and say all kinds of bad things about Trump. Sorry. You should have acted like a lawyer, and you should have understood the answer to the question before you asked it. And now you got embarrassed. Same thing on CNN.
Actor in the Arab American community. And I was really surprised this week to get an earful to hear them say that they would much rather either vote a third party, not vote at all, or vote for Donald Trump. And I'm telling you, it's not obviously a significant sample size, but I cannot find one.
Look at that dude's face. He's like, you shut up. Shut up. Stop telling people.
Arab American within my social circle in business or personally who have said that they will vote for Kamala Harris. When you look at the polling, it seems sort of neck and neck. What they are saying, and this is not a Donald Trump campaign line, that Tiffany Trump's father-in-law, who's a Lebanese businessman, has been successful.
Did you guys know that? Did you know that Trump's daughter married a Lebanese businessman who's basically been out there behind the scenes, nobody has known, talking to Arabs? I dropped when I heard that.
In kind of converting and talking to people to explain why Trump would be better, even with the Muslim ban, even with everything else that has happened, they feel they do not have any political clout. They don't have any political operation. The only political power they have is their vote, even if it means the rise of Donald Trump.
That's extraordinary. That's extraordinary.
It's extraordinary. Because this is the kind of thing you don't normally hear. And now we are, 2 weeks and a little bit over 2 weeks from the election? And now it's starting to bubble up. That here's another problem. Another problem. Now you got problems with the Arab Americans. Oh, by the way, Trump's son-in-law, you know, the guy who's a racist and everything, that guy Trump, his Lebanese son-in-law is out there doing the do behind the scenes. And y'all didn't even know it. I didn't even know it. Talk about some quiet, covert stuff. A Lebanese billionaire, I think he's a billionaire, if not, he's a multimillionaire, who's out there talking to, other Arabs who want to basically aspire to be successful. And Trump's got that market covered. And nobody has talked about that. In fact, I haven't even seen Tiffany Trump at most of the events. I know we talked about it when she got married, and of course, after he got shot, she showed up. But did you know that, number one, did you know that she married a Lebanese American? That's also just like, whoa, why would he have married into such a horrible family? No, they don't talk about that. They don't talk about that at all. And then on top of that, he and Trump have obviously sat down. He's like, what can you do? Well, I'm going to go to Detroit, and I'm going to go into some of these Muslim cities, and I'm going to let them know that you got their back. Nobody's talked about that. How did that stay secret until yesterday when that ran on CNN? How is Trump able to keep that under wraps and basically let everybody know? Well, he didn't. CNN just let everybody know. She's like, I don't know anybody. Anybody, not some. I don't know anybody that's voting for Kamala Harris. MSNBC panel. Any of you guys voting for Kamala Harris? Nope, ain't gonna happen. So if you just saw two people back to back who said unanimously, I don't know anybody who's voting for Trump. I mean for Kamala Harris. And they're Muslims. She's cooked. She's absolutely, I keep saying it over and over and over. I'm just trying to give you guys some more edification that this stuff is happening. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So she had a rally today in Michigan. And it didn't go well at all. So MSNBC again sends out a reporter to talk to her.
This week that every president has to cut their own path. What is one policy that you would have done differently over these last 3.5 years than President Biden?
I mean, to be very candid with you even including Mike Pence, vice presidents are not critical of their presidents. This
woman, she can't help. She might as well take the gun out the holster and just shoot herself with it. She just said, and I hope you guys heard it, she goes, the vice presidents really don't do anything, including Mike Pence. Well, Mike Pence isn't running, but thank you for telling us you're a complete imbecile. We don't really do anything. We're just figureheads. So you're now 2 weeks before the election, now you're telling everybody, I don't do anything. I'm useless. Her words. Not mine.
I think that really actually, in terms of the tradition of it and also just going forward, it does not make for a productive and important relationship.
Donald Trump.
It does not make for a productive relationship or an important or productive relationship. She just said, as the vice president, she's not important or productive. And I gotta believe her campaign people are like, what in the hell is this woman doing? She keeps giving them gifts. I mean, I don't know if Trump will mention it today. I'm sure he's going to mention the next thing I'm going to show you after this little cut here. But, man, she's shooting herself in the foot.
Leads, particularly among men, by 16 points right now. Why is that, and why do you think there is a disconnect for you with men right now?
All right, so in case they're screaming in the background, happy birthday, because they're trying to drown him out. What he asked her was, hey, you're down to Trump by 16 points with men. Why is there such a disconnect between you and men? Now, you're running for president, people are voting for you in little over 2 weeks, and you would think at this point you would seize every single opportunity you possibly can to show people you got the goods. Listen to this answer.
Well, let me tell you, you can look at this audience and you can see that there are people of every background and gender who are showing up by the thousands.
So what she just said, in case you couldn't hear it, is that you can look at this crowd, which there was none, and everybody's showing up in the thousands of all kinds of races and genders. And that's not what he asked you.
And I think it is because they know I intend to be a president for all Americans. And that is how I'm campaigning to earn the vote of every American.
So these reporters have had it with her BS. He shrugged his shoulder, and now he's going to ask her once again.
Only about their gender, but about their geographic location and unburdened by who they may have voted for in the.
I don't know where this word unburdened came from, but somehow it's stuck in her head. She just goes back to unburdened. She doesn't realize she's a joke for saying it.
Yes, I think this really is a moment like we saw with the Republicans who are supporting me most publicly recently, that it's a time to put country before party and really, again, with a sense of optimism, fight for what we care about.
Just to be clear, though, men still say by 16% margin they're supporting Donald Trump right now. Why do you think that is?
And so, just like with Red Bear, it's not attacking her. I asked you a question. You gave me word salad. I'm going to ask you that same question again. Can you answer it this time? Why is it that men don't want you?
It's not the experience that I'm having, to be honest with you.
You think the men are on board?
I mean, look around.
Are you concerned the Republicans?
That's not the experience I have. Well, nobody gives a crap about your experience. The data is out there. The data says, hey, man, the men don't like you. But Kamala Harris doesn't seem to matter. Doesn't matter to her what data says. See, she's got her own set of data. She's a walking analyst. She understands her own polls because, that's all that matters.
Republicans are cutting the Democratic strength through early voting, and what are you seeing in the numbers now, and how do you feel about them?
Well, what I'm hearing is that we're seeing record turnout. What I'm hearing is that in Georgia, for example, we're beating all records in terms of early voting.
All right, so you just heard what she said, right? What I'm hearing is we're beating all kinds of records for early voting. That's what I'm hearing. So in essence, what she has said is that she's been shown data, or she has data to support what she feels. Unfortunately, she can't remember a sentence ago what she actually says, because listen to what she says next.
And in North Carolina. And in fact, today in Michigan, I'm going to challenge the folks here to do the same. So
remember that.
Oh, I don't yet have enough data to tell you who's voting for who and or how they're leaning.
I'm sorry. 1 sentence ago, you just told us you had. Did you guys catch that? 1 sentence ago, literally 30 or 40 seconds, you say, hey, everything I've been told is that, we're doing very good. The early turnout, blah, 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 blah. And then, literally 2 sentences later, I don't have any data. So you just blew smoke up my butt. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. That's what you really mean, right? Because, again, this woman is so easy to catch. Because she can't think on her feet. She doesn't.
But I think it's great that people are turning out and voting and being active. It's what we should all want, right? In our democracy, that people understand it's their civic duty, but also that they can make a difference.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I love that a few moments later. So she's like, I'm going to go out here. I'm going to go make a speech. I'm going to get these people excited, and I'm going to get them to turn out, right? Okay.
We know we can make a difference because the power is with the people. God bless you. Thank you. I'll see you out there. Thank you all.
I got to cut it because of the music. So that sounded great. That sounded like she had a raucous crowd and she gave a great speech. Awesome. Awesome that she gave that kind of a speech. Wouldn't you agree? Except for the fact of Kamala, exhausted and spiraling as she caves under the pressure of losing, was on stage in Detroit for 6 minutes and 36 seconds. President Trump was on stage in Detroit for 1 hour and 27 minutes, which you watched last night if you joined me. She was on stage for 6 minutes and 36 seconds. That 30-second clip I showed you was basically the highlight of the entire speech. That was it. 6 minutes. Now understand, if these people were really there to see her, which, we don't know. Where is this? Let me go back here. Okay. Harris held a rally in Detroit. People, only a couple hundred, had to arrive on buses presumably, go through security, and wait around for the event. So imagine these people. It's Detroit. However they get there, they're there. They were there for hours. Hours. Going through security line, all that kind of stuff. And then they were probably there to see Lizzo because they advertised that Lizzo would be there. Lizzo decides, I'm not twerking and I'm not singing. I'm just going to talk. Hey man, why'd you advertise that Lizzo was going to be here? I thought I was getting a free concert. And she appeared for 6.5 minutes. That's it. That was her going out and motivating everybody to vote. 6.5 minutes, looking tired, exhausted. I've had it. How do you even fly to an event? How do you take your entire staff, the Secret Service, everybody? How do you even do that? And go on stage for 6 minutes? Can you imagine the waste of manpower, the waste of money, all that transportation, getting somebody to set up the equipment, the microphones, the amplifiers, the speakers, the security, the chairs, the turnstiles, the barriers. Everybody worked their ass off to come put together an event for Kamala Harris. People have come, no matter where they came from. I don't even care if they rode a bus. They still showed up, all couple hundred of them. And they're there to see you. And you're like, thank you, good night. Are you punking me? Seriously? You're leaving after 6 minutes and 26 seconds? Is that really? Yeah, that's exactly what she did. So, I don't know what's going on. I don't really care, but she's imploding, absolutely imploding. And what we're going to see tonight, or in a couple of minutes, is Trump basically showing up. He's going to have the big bird behind him. It's at an airport, so it's that perfect vista that we're all used to seeing. I mean, it's going to be incredible. And meanwhile, she got on stage for all of 6 minutes. It's embarrassing. It's not even, I can't even critique it. At this point, it's just embarrassing. She knows it's over. She's going through the motions. She's trying to rake in as much donor money as possible. And at this point, she's not even probably going to make it to the finish line. She's just going to limp in. I don't understand unless she says I was sick, lightheaded. So, how did you just do a 6 minute speech? Man. All right, so let's show something else here.
Hey guys, Grant Cardone here. I have my Trump 2024 Take America Back. Again, look, you need to put a sign in your front yard. You got to put a sticker on your car. Rock the 10X merch.
All right, so Grant Cardone, many of you know, billionaire real estate investor. Some people have problems with him, but he's a huge Trump supporter. And what he's saying at this point, and I have to agree, no shame. It's over. Don't wait. Don't feel bad. Put the sign in the yard, get the gear, put on the hat, put on the sweatshirt. Oh, sweatshirt. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. I forgot all about that. Oh, yeah. We're back. We got the new shipment in. Ashley's got her merchandise ready to go and push it out there. We're going to give away a couple of these tomorrow. I want you to enter tonight so we can give them away tomorrow. Enter to win. Go to fanfareshop.org. It is open. It is ready to take your information, and you can win a hoodie. We're going to give away 4 of them tomorrow. 4. So you got to come back, but go there and enter to win.
Get out there, let people know who you're voting for. Let's take our country back. It's time. Make this a landslide victory.
Yeah, don't go ahead and win the hoodie and not wear it. When you get it, I want to see it on you. I want to see a picture. Take a selfie and take a picture of yourself in that hoodie. At this point, he's going to win. I know there's some shenanigans going on in Georgia, and I know there's some shenanigans going on in Michigan, but he's going to win. Stop hiding at this point. Be vocal. Be visible. Let people know you're on the winning team. I love what Grant said here.
And send a message to the liberals. We're done. We're finished. It's over. Take our country back. Let's
love that. Send a message to the libnuts. Do not be afraid. No fear. Go for it. Get out there. Put on the gear. Put in the sign. Screw them. I'm serious. At this point, let the world know. He did. You can.
Go, Trump 2024.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage former NFL Steelers greats Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown.
But I'm here today representing a man who carries those same values. Donald Trump.
So those of you who don't know Antonio Brown, AB, don't know his history. Won a Super Bowl, got a ring, played with the Steelers, played with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then kind of went bat poop crazy. He walked off a field in the middle of the game, been arrested a few times after that. But that's what redemption is all about, putting your life back together. And Le'Veon Bell, I forget how to say his name, another running back from the NFL, says, hey, listen, I'm getting behind Trump as well. And that's why I'm saying put on your shirts, because people are stepping out. I love it that black men are saying, I'm done with this stuff. This is from Marcellus Wiley. Marcellus Wiley, former Cowboy, I think he played for a couple other teams, was on ESPN. It certainly beats 2 straight elections of Democrats telling me I ain't black if I don't vote for them. You're starting to see major sports people who ordinarily wouldn't get out there and stick their neck out and say, yeah, I'm voting for Trump. They're now out there saying, yeah, I'm voting for Trump. They're not worried about Obama screaming about, you ain't black if you don't vote for Kamala. Screw that. I'm an American. Let's listen to what AB had to say.
He knows success, and he knows what it takes to make America great again. And to be real, we all have experienced highs and lows, especially me in my career as a Super Bowl champion and life as a father to 7 amazing children. I have experienced low points and have to overcome adversity. Just how I watched Donald Trump overcome adversity. No matter what the media threw at him, no matter what people say to try to bring him down, he continued to push forward and keep getting back up. And he's always ready for the fight. Fight, 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 fight. I love that.
I love it too, because that power of what Trump did, he got knocked down. Actually, he got shot down, and he got back up. And he's inspiring so many people who've been knocked down, either by themselves or stupid stuff that they did or other people. And one of those people is Antonio Brown. I'm not thumbing my nose up at him. I'm not being phony by saying, he's a Trump supporter, so all is good. I'm looking at him, as I spoke to you yesterday, as a man. And sometimes that catalyst has to happen when a man has to look at things and go, you know what? I was wrong. I did something stupid. Now I got to protect my 7 kids that he said. 7 of them. And he saw Trump get knocked down and get shot and said, you know, I need to do something about it. Now, they're getting ready to, I see the big bird, and they just had a good shot of not Trump, but the security walking. So while they're getting ready, let's go ahead and take some comments here. She had the nerve to say that, yeah, that whole thing, somebody who said Jesus is Lord. I got to show you this picture. This is an awesome picture. This is Trump walking from his plane. I just love the way the shadows look. How, you know, the Secret Service, they're walking through the shadows from the obviously the sunset in Latrobe, and he's already heading to the stage. He's on stage, actually, so we will be taking him very, very shortly. But that's just an awesome picture, the shadow of him walking out there. I love it. Sorry, I might be having a man crush at this point, but I like to look at vistas like that, you know, out of the shadow, and the other one, he's walking into the light, obviously. So as soon as he begins talking, we'll go ahead and turn up the volume. I'm going to leave it on here because I want you guys to be able to see. So please post a link for Fanfare Shop. Okay, let me do that real quick. And it's fanfareshop.org. Fanfareshop.org. One word. Okay. All right, so they're playing the music, and you know what's weird? He's actually going to be on time tonight. It's 6:06. Usually, you know, he's 15, 20, 30 minutes late, but not tonight. He's there, baby. He is there and ready. I am ready. I've got 2 feeds going. I like my other feed better, which is directly from Trump. So let me go and cut to that. All right, so there's the good feed. Not that RSBN is bad, but I like Trump's feed better. Barry, I really appreciate when you let us see Trump walking in and getting off the plane. Thank you. I hope when he gets up to the stage that the backdrop is visible, so that plane, you see the plane right now? No, you can't see it right now. Let me go to the other feed so you can actually see that. So you can see the plane is back there behind him. But on the, this one has it better. Okay. You can see it. See the big jet right there. Love that. So it's a nice sunset evening in Latrobe, which is just outside of Pittsburgh. And Donald Trump is making his way to the stage. And as soon as he begins talking, we'll have to do a volume check. Someone says the fanfare link is not working. Let me check that when he begins talking, I will check it myself. Because it worked for me. I was the one who put it up. And let me just check. Yeah, it's working. I don't know why people can't see it. Let me go split screen so I can show you guys that maybe you wrote down the wrong thing, but here we go. Yeah, somebody said they just entered, so it's working. Maybe I can't tell you why some people didn't. All right, is he talking yet?
The world. He started off very, very poor. He had no money, just had a lot of talent and a lot of muscle. He was a strong guy. And his father, worked at Latrobe Golf Course. And he was a laborer. They had strong people carrying it. He was the strongest of them all. And he had a son, but they had no money. And he worked at Latrobe. And they treated him good because he could do more work than anybody else. And his son started to grow up, and he realized his son was very strong like him. But he never had a chance to play golf. He had no money at all. And his son was named Arnold. And when Arnold was 4 and 5 years old, they had no money to buy a club. He couldn't buy one club, not one. And they used to go to the back of, this was all told to me by Arnold, so I have it firsthand. They used to go to the bag room
where the members were, and they took out members clubs, and they'd use the members clubs, 2 or 3 of them at night, late at night, and he'd hit balls with his son, and he'd watch his son every move, and he realized his son had great talent. And then his son got older and stronger, and then he got his son every move, and he realized his son had great talent. And then his son got older and stronger, and then he got stronger and stronger, and his father started saying, wow, this is really crazy. What's going on with this kid? And finally he was able to save up enough money to get him some clubs, but they weren't strong enough. Arnold was breaking them. He'd swing a regular club, and it'd break the hell out of it because he was so powerful. And they went back to the members' bags because they couldn't afford another set. And it used very stiff-shafted clubs, very strong for those of you that aren't golfers. That's for like good golfers with power, very stiff-shafted. And he'd get better and better. And then he went to high school and he won all sorts of championships, one after another. He'd beat the rich kids. He'd kill them. He'd beat them so badly. He loved beating them, even though he was a nice guy, but he was tough. He was a tough cookie, Arnold. I got to know him really well. And it beat him over and over again. And then he got a set of clubs, and he got even better, and he won every championship. And he got into Wake Forest. You know that, right? Wake Forest. And he was immediately, as a freshman, the captain of the team. And there was a man named Mark McCormick. And Mark McCormick founded IMG. That's a very big, one of the biggest entertainment companies in the world today. And he wanted to be a professional golfer. He didn't go to Wake Forest. He went to another college, another school. And I won't say which because, honestly, I didn't want to look it up. It wasn't worth it. But a good golf college. And he wanted to be a pro. He's a very good golfer, very, very good. And he had the privilege of playing Arnold Palmer in a match between Wake Forest and his college. And the way he tells it, he was playing fantastically well, Mark McCormick, a very famous man, actually, founder of the biggest entertainment company. And he was playing very well, playing Arnold, and Arnold was just Arnold. He was just better than anybody else in college. And somebody shouted over to Mark McCormick, how are you playing? He said, I'm playing great. Can't play better. How are you doing? I'm 6 down. And he realized at the end of that match that he would never be a pro because he could never beat a guy like this. It wasn't close. He said he was longer, straighter, chipped better, putted better, and thought better. Other than that, they were very close. But he gave it up. He said, I'm not going to be a golfer. But he went to Arnold. He said, Arnold, you're going to be turning pro and you're going to make a lot of money. And my second choice was to start representing people that are talented. And I'd like you to be my first client. And they made a deal where Arnold owned a big piece of the company. And Arnold started winning immediately. Made a lot of money for him. And Mark McCormick became the agent. And then because of Arnold's success, IMG, which you know, most of you know, it's very, very big now. Hollywood stars, everything. IMG became well known, and he started signing a lot of other players and a lot of other people. And then he started with Hollywood, and they signed Hollywood stars. And it became the biggest of those companies, like William Morris and all of them. And it was all because of Arnold. Arnold owned a big piece of it. Arnold was a very rich man. And I said to Arnold, I got to know him when he was 69 years old. And I played pretty much with him, a lot of them. And as he got older, you know, when you get older, you start to lose a thing called distance. And I'm a good golfer. Not like that, but I'm a good golfer. And I felt so good because I was hitting it a little bit longer than Arnold. But he was by this time about 75, 76. And I'd hit it 4 or 5 yards past him. I said, Arnold, let me ask you, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, was I longer than you? He said, Donald, I wasn't president or close at that time. That was long before I decided to have this fund. So, but you're talking about a great man. I said, Arnold, and he was still plenty long, but I said, Arnold, do you think I was longer than you like I am now 30, 40 years ago? He goes, Donald, let me tell you a little secret. You weren't even close. He said, you see that tree out there? He pointed to a tree that's about 70 yards in front of us. He said, that's where I would drive it. And you're about 70 yards short of that tree, and you would have been even worse than you were. And it's true, you know, he won, I think it was Pine Valley, one of the great courses. He won the U.S. Open. He drove a par four. As only person ever to drive that hole until that time. He drove it in a playoff to win the playoff. He went over the trees, very risky shot. He ended up driving the green, and he won with a birdie on the hole. And nobody till that point had done anything like it. But I said to Arnold, he became very rich because of the investments and the IMG and all of the different things. And I said to Arnold, just out of curiosity, you could live anywhere in the world. You could live on the Pacific Ocean. You could live on the Atlantic Ocean. You could live anywhere in the world. Why did you choose to stay? And part of the beauty is that because he made money right away, a lot of times it takes a pro years before they start making the money. It's a very, very difficult sport, actually. But he started right away making money. And you know the first thing he bought was Latrobe Golf Club. And you know the first thing he did? He took his father from a laborer to make him the course superintendent. How cool is that? And then ultimately his father became the manager of the club. And Arnold was so proud, and his father was good. He said, one thing with my father, nobody's going to steal on me. He said that, and I said that too. I said, there's something nice. And then I took Arnold, when he was quite old, in all fairness, we took a helicopter from where he was in Florida to Doral. I own Doral, which is a great place. And it's got 4 courses, many championships. Many of the best championships were at Doral. And I was building these beautiful, they call them villas, about 88 units in each one, hotel villas. And I named them after the 10 greatest golfers, including like Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, Ben Hogan, Gary Player, Slammin', Sammy Snead, all great players. And I said, Arnold, I really want to name one after you. Would you like it? He said, I'd love it. I'd be honored to have that. And we flew down for the opening ceremony to cut a ribbon for the Arnold Palmer Villa. And it's, to this day, people just love it. And I'll never forget the day. He was having a little hard time. He was a little older. He hit the 80s. But he was still, when he got up there, he had that magic like nobody had. And, you know, there were a few golfers that you could say maybe slightly better. A few, not many. But there was nobody that had his magic. He was a thriller. He was unbelievable. He knew how to win, and he knew how to just do whatever it was that electrified a crowd. If I had him here right now with me, this crowd would be going absolutely crazy. They'd say, Trump, get off the stage. We want Arnold Palmer to speak. He would electrify a crowd, and he would go for shots that nobody else could do, and they were risky as hell, and sometimes it wouldn't work out, but usually it did with him. He was an incredible man. He was an incredible champion, and he came from Latrobe. And so when I said a couple of days ago, I said, where are we going to be today? They said, sir, we're going to be in Latrobe. I said, do you know what that means? No, sir. What does it mean? I said, that means Arnold Palmer. Because Arnold told me he could be, and I knew he could be. They wanted him everywhere. Just like I wanted to name a villa after him. Everybody wanted him. He could have been in any place he wanted. He said, no, this is where I want to be. This is the place I love. I mean, how good is that, right? And he died a very proud owner of this course, and he was always tinkering with it. I said, Arnold, what are you doing? He said, well, I'm moving the hole 4 yards back. I said, nobody knows the difference, Arnold. And he said, I don't care. I love it. I love this place. He could not get enough of Latrobe. So, you know, I've been here before, and I've told the story before, not in this kind of detail, because, you know, you have these teleprompters. If I would read it off a teleprompter, it wouldn't be so good, right? And it would be a lot shorter. It wouldn't be as good. And I didn't want to do that. I said, when I come here, I'm going to tell them the real story of Arnold. But Arnold Palmer was all man. And I say that in all due respect to women, and I love women. But this is a guy that was all man. This man was strong and tough. And I refuse to say it, but when he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there, they said, oh my God, that's unbelievable. I had to say it. We have women that are highly sophisticated here, but they used to look at Arnold as a bad, but he was really something special. Arnold was something special. So I just want to tell you, you're very lucky, the people that live in Latrobe, and it's an honor for me to be here because of him. And he was actually he was a great man, and I don't think there would be golf to the extent that you have it today. It probably wouldn't be that way without the great Arnold Palmer. So enjoy it, everybody. Enjoy it. And I had to tell you the shower part of it because it's true. What can I tell? We want to be honest. We want to be upfront. It's true. But I'm thrilled to be back in this incredible Commonwealth with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. I'd like to begin by asking a question. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? Now, after living through this nightmare of inflation, invasion, and humiliation. You know what the invasion is, right? Invasion by the southern border. What they've done to our country is unbelievable, allowing more than 21 million people into our country. Many of them are murderers. Many of them are drug dealers, and they're from mental institutions. He says, send them back. You're right. Do you come from Latrobe by any chance? Yeah, he does. But Americans are ready to be free from Kamala Harris. You know that whenever I use the word Harris, everybody says, who's Harris? They have no idea who Harris is. That's true. They have no idea who's Harris. But Kamala, and to reclaim the future that is rightfully yours, you're going to reclaim it. This election is a choice between whether we will have a incredible 4 more years of failure. It's such a horrible 4 years. We had a horrible, think of everything they touch turns to everything. Inflation, Afghanistan. How about Afghanistan? Most embarrassing moment in the history of our... Everything they've touched. Even now he's telling Israel, everything he said to Israel was exactly the opposite. He's the greatest, I will say this about Biden, he's the single greatest expert on foreign policy in history. You know what that means? If you did the exact opposite of what he suggested every single time, you'd go down as the greatest foreign policy president in history. If you did the exact opposite. Everything's a failure. And he's telling Bibi Netanyahu, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. All our great congressmen are there. And don't do any of these things. And Bibi didn't listen to him. And I tell you what, they're in a much stronger position now than they were 3 months ago. That's for sure. Nobody's ever seen anything like has happened. And Bibi called me today, and he said, it's incredible what's happened. They said, it's pretty incredible. But he wouldn't listen to Biden, because if he did, they wouldn't be in this position. And she's worse than him. She's not as smart as him. And I'm not saying he's the smartest. I'm not saying he's the smartest. But she's not as smart as him. And I think maybe, you know, based on early results, maybe he'd be doing better than her. You know, we have results coming out where we actually now don't have to rely on the polls. We're doing good in the polls, but we don't have to rely on the polls. Remember, they stole the election from an American president. They stole it. I could say coup. I don't even want to call it. They just stole the election. They said, we're taking the election away. I don't like it. Excuse me, I'm going to recomb my hair. Do you mind? I'll leave the stage for 5 minutes. I'm going to recomb my hair, Mr. Future Senator. We have David down here, Mr. Future Senator. You got to get him in. You're doing good too. Well, let's keep it the way it is. Let's just keep going, right? We'll trudge through it. But this election is a choice between whether we will have 4 more years of failure and disaster, and that's what it's been. It's been failure. We're disrespected all over the world. They're laughed at all over the world. They're laughing at him and they're laughing at her. The other night they had Catholic Charities. They had the biggest event, the Al Smith dinner. It's the biggest event of the year for Catholics. And she's the only one in years, decades, that didn't show up. She didn't show up. She wouldn't be there. She wouldn't be there. She said no. And she ended up doing a tape that was pathetic. And it was an insult to Catholics, frankly, because she was actually sort of knocking them or knocking religion. Then she had the other event the other day where she said, you're in the wrong location when they started talking about a certain subject, right? You're in which basically was a knock on Christianity and a knock on religion, because she doesn't know what the hell she's saying. But there had been a failure, it's been a disaster, or you're going to have 4 years, and they will be the 4 greatest years in the history of our country if we make the proper decision. You got to make that decision. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. But you know, by the way, if you're Catholic, you can't vote after that. And you can't vote for another reason. That administration has been persecuting Catholics. It's been persecuting Catholics. I don't know why. Persecuting a lot of people. Persecuting politicians. I raised my hand, but we're kicking their ass. They are bad. They are bad. They are bad. Guys going to jail. They've never done this. This has never happened. It happens in third world countries and banana republics. They go after, it's called weaponization. They weaponize their justice departments. I call it the Department of Injustice. Ours is the Department of Injustice. But we're doing well. We won the big case in Florida. You saw that? That was the big one. That was the big one. That was the big one. They're going to get him on that one. Oh, they're going to get him. We had a judge who was brilliant and fair and very smart. She ruled against them, very strongly against them. These are dishonest people that we're dealing with. But we won that, and we have other ones. We have them on the ropes. Remember, they were going to have me in all sorts of trouble. I'm going to be in trouble. And in the meantime, it's just weaponization of government. It made me more popular. It actually made me more popular, I think. It's crazy. Because people can see, and they're smart, and we could sometime explain it, but one after another. You had Fani, F-A-N-I, which is usually pronounced Fanny. She added a little action to it, Fani. That was a scam. They're all scams. They're all scams. It's a corrupt system, and it's a corrupt Justice Department, and it's a corrupt DA, corrupt attorney generals. They use it to get elected because you can't get elected with open borders, with transgender operations all over the place, with men playing in women's sports, with high taxes and bad schools, and no school choice. You can't get elected with all. I could go on for 10 minutes. Your vote will decide whether we give up on America or whether we save America. It's the most important election you're ever going to have. It really is. By the way, how nice is this place? Isn't it beautiful? Look, people as far as you can see, They give you a little extra security nowadays. Do you notice? Hey, I got more machine guns than I've ever seen in my life. Look at these guys. Hey, hey, hey. I got more machine guns. I never saw guns like that. I said to my son, Don, he knows a lot about guns. And Eric knows they're great shots. They really understand. I said, what kind of a gun is that? They said, Dad, you don't even want to know. They are serious guns. We got more guys. And every one of them is like central casting, too. Holy shit. I'm looking. They look like Arnold Palmer. They look like Arnold. Can't look better than Arnold. But with your support, we'll bring back our nation's strength, dominance, prosperity, and pride. We're going to do it. This will be America's new golden age. 100 years from now, the presidential election of 2024 will be looked upon as America's greatest victory. I hope that's true. Because we've been through so much together, and the finish line is finally in sight. After 4 horrendous years, Kamala Harris can't say one thing that she'd do differently, right? You heard that. If you vote for me, I will end inflation. I will bring jobs back to our country. We'll flood our shores with companies and jobs. We'll seal our borders immediately. And we'll let people in. You know, we had the safest border in the history of our country. Hold it. Put up my favorite sign of all time. Put up my favorite graph. I have to use it. My favorite graph. So the red arrow on the bottom, that's the lowest number of illegal immigrants to come into this country. And by the way, we want people to come into the country, but they have to come in legally, just so we understand, right? She's going, yeah. We want them. We need them. We're going to need them because we're going to have so many companies come in just through adjustments in tariffs and taxes. They're going to come pouring into our country. And they're going to stay here because we're going to protect them with tariffs. The word tariff is the most beautiful word in the dictionary. More beautiful than love. More beautiful than respect. No, less beautiful than religion, though, right? I don't want to get into that argument. But the word tariff is the most beautiful word in the dictionary. Remember that. It's going to make our country rich. And our politicians were too stupid for so many years, or something else was going on. He goes crooked. That could be, because it's so simple to understand. But look at that. So that was the day I left office, that lower red arrow. That's the lowest point. And look what happened to our country after that. Look at that. And that was done by Border Patrol, which we love. Oh, by the way, Border Patrol gave us their total and complete endorsement. And it's hard. You know, they're not actually supposed to do it. They said, well, let them take all 29,000 of us and let's see what happens to this country. No, they're not, in theory. You know, you work for the government. They couldn't help. And they said she's horrible. They said she's horrible. It wasn't just, they said, you're the greatest president in the history of our country. Some only said the greatest in our lifetime. They had a unanimous endorsement from everybody. And they said at the same time, she's the worst we've ever had by far. And now she's running. And I tell you, I think that the border, I was just saying to Byron Donalds in the plane, right, Byron? I was just saying up, Byron. What a great guy. Look at that black hat. So, you know what? You know who the founder of that hat is? Elon Musk. He wore it. He's like the founder. And I said, you know, we sell that. I think we sell about 2 a year. Now it's the hottest hat we have. And, you know, Elon came up. Elon Musk gave us his total endorsement. How good is that, right? I mean, he's the one that landed that rocket. That rocket came in. I said, that sucker's not going to make it. I was actually on the phone talking to somebody. It was crazy. And I'm talking to this person. And I'm saying, wait a minute, something's happening. I got to just hold it. I put the phone, and it was a very important person. I'm looking at something on the screen. I'm seeing this 24-story tube come down, and it looked like it was getting, Congressman, it looked like it was getting a little bit close to the gantry or whatever the hell they call that nowadays. I said, oh, my God. And I put the phone down. Very important person, by the way. I won't tell you who. It'll be embarrassing. Because I never picked up the phone again. I was sitting there for... And because I was the president, and because I'm leading, which is probably more important to him, the guy didn't hang up. He was on the phone 45, 50 minutes waiting. I just saw, oh, the phone's off the hook. Hello? Hello? He went, but I saw this thing come down, this tube, this giant tube, and I put the phone, I said, just a second. I said, I don't believe it, because I had the sound off. I turned the sound up, and it came down, and I said, it's going to crash. Don't crash. Now, I thought it was, actually, at first, I thought it was like a movie or something. I never saw this before, and I've seen it a lot. And it came down, and it was going into and then all of a sudden, you see the fire pouring out of the left side. I pushed it over. It landed perfectly, and then it was grabbed by two giant claws, and they grabbed it like Willie Mays would catch a fly ball in center field, right? That's the way it was. He was pretty good, Willie. And it came down, and I called Elon. I said, Elon, is that you? He said, that was me. I said, can anyone else do that? No. Can the United States do it? No. Can Russia do it? China do it? No. Nobody can do that. He said, they're 10 years behind. This guy is great. And he said, if Donald Trump doesn't win, it could be the end of democracy in our country. It could be the end of our country. And you know where he is today? He's in another part of the Commonwealth. Never, ever make the mistake of calling it a state, by the way. It could be career ending. I had a friend that did that, a politician. He used to be a politician, but it shouldn't be that big a deal because a lot of people make that mistake. That's one I could understand somebody making, but we call it the Commonwealth. But Elon endorsed me. He's in another part of the Commonwealth, and he's campaigning now. And he's got a gold. He's got a gold cap. But he called it, I said, he was wearing the black hat in Butler, Pennsylvania. We had 101,000 people, Butler, honoring Corey, the firefighter. Butler, Pennsylvania, we had 101,000 people. It was unbelievable. What a night that was. And we were honoring Corey and two gentlemen who were very badly hurt. We thought they weren't going to make it. The doctors up there, they have good doctors. These are good doctors. I don't know if they call them country doctors, but whoever they are, they were good because these were two men that were not two great supporters who were not supposed to make it. And they made it. And they made it. They'll be okay. But Corey didn't make it, and we honored Corey. It was the most beautiful evening, right? We had a moment of silence, and then we had the bells of Notre Dame, right? Notre Dame playing. And then we had an opera singer who sounded just like Pavarotti. I mean, the guy was unbelievable, and he sang Ave Maria. And the whole place was crying. It was crazy. I'm looking at the audience. Some of my friends were there, almost as tough as the football players that we have. We have some of the great football players. Almost as tough. I don't know if you guys would... But they were tough cookies. And I see them crying. They're trying to be cool. You know, no, I wasn't crying. But the whole place was crying. It was amazing. It was 101,000 people. So we will regain our sovereignty. We will restore our safety. And we will unlock the magnificent destiny that is just within our reach. And I am asking you to be excited about the future of our country. Again, you're going to be excited. This is going to be the most exciting period ever. Every problem facing us can be solved, but now the fate of our nation is in your hands. It really is. I mean, if you put these lunatics in charge any longer, we can't take it any longer. They're laughed at. They're laughed at by foreign leaders. They think they can't even believe it. They can't even believe it. Biden can't find his way off a platform. She's worse. I wonder if she's going to have any trouble. No, she should be probably okay in that regard. But she's worse up here. Pennsylvania, you have to stand up and you have to tell Kamala Harris, who shouldn't be there. She shouldn't be. She's a threat to democracy. The way they took over, they call me a threat to democracy, right? She's a threat to democracy because she shouldn't even be the candidate. They should have picked a candidate fairly, not just given her because they want to be politically correct. I mean, whether you like him or not, we had the debate, and his numbers went down. He didn't have a good night. But that can happen. But, that happens. And the numbers go down, and they went down. And they went into him. They said, we're not going to let you run. We're going to take it away. That's crazy. Nancy went in. Chuck Schumer went in. Some of the people went in. They took it away from him. They just took it away from him. It's bad. And that is a threat to democracy, if you think about it, right? That's a real threat to democracy. But you have to tell Kamala Harris. And by the way, I think he would have, let's see what happens. And I may be wrong. But let's see what happens. I think he might have done better than she's going to do, because all we had to do is expose her as a lunatic left, further left than Pocahontas. Do you know who Pocahontas? Elizabeth Warren. She's further left than Pocahontas. And I don't want to get into that stuff, but her mother said she was Indian because she had high cheekbones. That's what she said. And then she went out and did a test because I was driving her crazy, calling her Pocahontas. So she fell for the trap. And she did a test, and she was so happy because it came back 1,014th. Remember? 1,014th. And that was it. That means I had more Indian blood in me than she had, and I have none. I have none. I'd like to have some. I would like to have some, I'd be honored. But I have more, and I have none. But she was so happy when she got, think of that. Think of that. That was what happened. That was the end of her career. That was the end of her presidential run. She was leading for the president. And when she said, and you got to understand, just these are the people we're dealing with. She took that Indian heritage, and based on the fact, and this is her statement. This is not me. There's no racist anything in me, not a drop. But this is not me. Her mother told her this, that she had high cheekbones and therefore she was part Indian. And based on that, she applied to colleges. She applied for jobs. She applied for the U.S. Senate. And everyone's forgotten that crap right now, but I never forget it. But she went out and she had the test, and the test was ridiculous basically. And then I said that I have more than she does. And I would love to, I will tell you. But she's bad news. But she's radical left crazy. She drives people. What she does to business people is horrible. She's a horrible person. But she's radical left. And Crazy Bernie is radical left. And this one, Kamala, is further left than them. So you have to tell Kamala Harris that you've had enough, that you just can't take it anymore. We can't stand you. You're a shit vice president. The worst. You're the worst vice president. Kamala, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. You're fired. Get out of here. Get the hell out of here, Kamala.
I think he's feeling it.
Early voting in Pennsylvania is now underway. Go and vote. Just go and vote. Get out there, and if you've not registered to vote, you only have 2 days left. You have to get out there and register immediately. Does everybody promise they're going to register? Okay. Boy, look at the crowd. Wow. Wow. Hello, everybody. How did the flyover look? Good? Cool. It feels like you're very close to the ground. I said, are we okay here? When it looks like okay from here, but let me tell you, when you're in that plane, that sucker feels low. I'm saying, I hope everything's working nicely on that plane. With your help, 17 days from now, we are going to win Pennsylvania. We're going to defeat Kamala Harris, and we are going to make America great again, right? And I'm in big trouble tonight. You know why? Franklin Graham wrote me. You heard this. Like 2 months ago, he said, President, we love your stories. We love your speaking. We love everything about you. You're a great Christian. We love everything about you. But, sir, please don't use any bad language, bad words. He said, your stories will even be better. And I wrote it back. I said, I'm going to try and do that. But actually, the stories won't be as good. Because you can't put the same emphasis on. So tonight I broke my rule. I've done it for weeks, but tonight I just said, look, I'm in Pennsylvania. What the hell? What the hell? I went to school here. I went to the Great Wharton School of Finance here. What a great school that was, too. What a great school. So if we win Pennsylvania, we win the whole damn thing, right? And starting on day one of my new administration, I will end Kamala Harris's war on Pennsylvania energy because she's going to ban fracking, right? 100%. She was against fracking, against all this stuff, and then all of a sudden about a year and a half ago when she was getting killed in the polls, she said, I like fracking very much. Look, they always go back to what they want. They always go back. She can't help it. She's a radical left Marxist. She can't help it. But we're going to end that, and we will frack, and drill, baby, drill. We're going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to be drilling so deep. We're going to be, for these guys, we're going to drill. We're going to take out so much money. We're going to pay down our debt. We're going to lower your taxes. I gave you the largest tax cut in the history of our country. And the biggest regulation cuts in the history of our country. And we had the best economy in the history of our country. And we had the best border in the history of our country. Other than that, what the hell? I did other things, too. I rebuilt the military. And unfortunately, they gave a lot of it away to the Taliban. These geniuses, these stupid people like Milley, General Milley. Remember his performance in Congress? General Milley and Mattis, all these guys, what a bunch of lightweights. But we have great generals, but they're the ones you don't see on television. They're the ones that actually have to fight. Like, we defeated 100% of the ISIS caliphate with great generals and we have a great military, but not the ones you see on television. Not the movie actors that you see. Kamala has said repeatedly she wants to ban fracking, which would kill over 500,000 jobs in Pennsylvania alone. Watch this.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
I am committed to passing a Green New Deal and finally putting an end to fracking.
To pass a Green New Deal. I am offering a Green New Deal that has been described as one of the most aggressive and progressive.
Well, he's going to bring the Green New Deal up for a vote.
Yeah, I will vote for it. It is a resolution. I believe that the underlying principles behind it are sound and important.
What is the solution for voters who have jobs and interests in the fossil fuel industry?
Giving the workers an ability to transition into the jobs of the future.
Can we afford it?
Of course we can afford it. It's not about a cost. Of course we can afford it. It's not about a cost.
So when she does that, that's the end of Pennsylvania as we know it. It's the most important, not only from the standpoint of $500,000 jobs, it's 500,000 jobs, but in terms of income for the state, you would have to double and triple your taxes to make up. And she's going to do it. She's going to do it. She's going to do it. And the other thing, the taxes, you know what an unrealized capital gain is? Okay? It's called, I'll tell you what it is, communism is what. So she wants to have a tax. So capital gains tax is terrible. It's rough. But, you sell something, you can pay the tax. She wants an unrealized capital gain every year so that if something goes up in value, now you have to go out. It'll be a great business for appraisers and for lawyers and for accountants. Other than that, it's a disaster. She wants an unrealized, and she refuses to say that No, we're not going to do that. No, she refuses. Think of it. It's an unrealized gain. She wants to tax an unrealized gain. This woman is crazy. I will terminate the Green New scam immediately. It's the greatest scam in history. I will stop the energy price hikes. I will rescind the natural gas export ban, which is killing your state, by the way. And we will have energy independence. You know, we were energy independent 4 years ago. Think of it. Energy independent. We're still going to be energy dominant. And I will cut your energy and electricity prices in half within 12 months of taking office. 50%. We have it. It's under our feet. We don't have to get it from Venezuela. We get it from Venezuela. It's not even the whole thing's not believable. For most of American history, Pennsylvania was the commercial and industrial powerhouse of the United States. But year after year, globalist, radical left politicians and incompetents like Kamala Harris have waged a war on your Commonwealth. They've annihilated your steel mills, decimated your coal jobs, assaulted your oil and gas jobs, and sold off your manufacturing jobs to China and foreign nations all over the world. Under the Trump administration, we are going to take back what is ours. We will end the looting and pillaging of Pennsylvania and many other states all over our country. We will bring back our manufacturing jobs, our energy jobs, our coal jobs, our steel jobs, and our dreams. And it's all very simple. Starting in January, we will give our companies the lowest taxes, the lowest energy costs, the lowest regulatory burdens, and free access to the best and biggest market anywhere on the planet, but only if they make their products right here in America. If they don't, they have to pay a higher tax. And only if they hire American workers for the job, and they will. They'll all be coming. They'll be pouring in. If these companies don't make their product here, then they will pay a tariff when they send their products into the United States for the privilege of competing with our workers and our cherished companies. We're going to protect our workers and our companies. It's all very simple. We don't do any of this now. I was going to do it, and then COVID came, and I said, we got to fight that one. We did a great job with that. I got great credit for the economy, for the military. We were in no wars. Think of it. I started no wars. Everybody thought I'd be like in a war. I'll be in a war in 2 days. No, it didn't work out. My personality stopped wars. Stopped wars. It stopped wars in countries that we weren't even involved. I was able to stop wars with other countries that we weren't even that involved with just by making a couple of phone calls. I saved a lot of lives. We will call this policy the Build It in America plan, because when foreign leaders and CEOs call me up to complain about our tariffs, my answer will be very simple to them. Build it in America, build it in Pennsylvania. We're going to build a lot. We're going to have all those hulks that you have all over the place, the big empty hulks that we have all over our country. They're going to be loaded up with companies. They'll probably be, honestly, they'll be ripped down, and you'll see modern buildings built, modern manufacturing built. The centerpiece of this plan will be a 15% made in America corporate tax rate, cutting the tax from 21% to 15%, but again, only for those who make their product in the USA. And remember, I got it down to 21. Everyone said it would be impossible to get approved by Congress. I got it approved by Congress, but I got it down to 21. It was close to 40%. I got it down to 21%. Nobody thought that was possible. Now, I'm taking it from 21% down to 15%. The companies are going to roar in because 21% is very competitive. 15% is really, it's amazing. I mean, companies are going to want to be here, but they have to be protected from other companies coming in from the outside and raiding the jobs, the products, and that's what we're doing with the tariffs. And for those companies who don't make their product in America, they will be forced to pay a very stiff tariff, and we will make it and take it. Hundreds of billions of dollars are going to come in through tariff dollars to benefit American citizens, and we're going to pay off debt and reduce your taxes still further. Again, I gave you the biggest tax cut in history. We'll be able to do it still further. And remember this, for decades, nobody paid, China never paid 1 penny, not 1 penny to us until I came along. They paid hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs and taxes under me, under Bush, under Obama. They never paid. They never paid anything, nothing, not a dime. Hundreds of billions of dollars they paid. And that's just the beginning. We're a rich country, but we don't know how to be rich. We just don't know how to be, but we're going to be rich, and we're going to be richer than ever before. We're going to take care of ourselves. It's going to be America first. It's also going to be, we'll help the world. We want to help the world. But it's time that we take care of ourselves. We owe $36 trillion. We're going to take care of ourselves first. And I will never apologize for defending America. I will protect our workers. I will protect our jobs. I will protect our borders. I will protect our families. And I will protect the birthright of our children to live in the richest and most powerful nation on the face of the earth. And I will also protect our steel industry. If you guys remember, we were going to lose our steel. We had the worst policy on steel. China was coming in and others dumping steel onto our shores. And we would have had no steel industry left. And I put a big tariff on all steel coming in. It was not good steel either. It was what we call dirty steel. It's bad steel, bad structurally, very dangerous actually. But they were dumping steel into our country, destroying our steel mills. And I put a big tariff, and it all stopped when I did that. It all stopped. And we took in hundreds of billions of dollars, and it all stopped. And, we slashed foreign steel all these exports that were pouring in, they stopped to the level of about 25%. Nobody could believe it. And I hadn't even started yet. We were just getting ready. We were going to make this country richer than it had ever been before. In the 1890s and 1880s, our country was actually the richest it ever was. They had to form committees to determine how are we going to spend this vast wealth. We had so much wealth, relatively speaking, so much wealth, more than anybody by far. And they formed up blue ribbon committees. How are we going to spend the money? We don't know how to spend it. Wouldn't that be a nice problem to have? And it was all a tariff country. We were a tariff country. And McKinley was president. William McKinley was actually a great president, was assassinated, by the way. He was assassinated. Being president is a very dangerous profession. If you're an auto racer, you know how many people die? About 1/10%. If you're a bull rider, that's dangerous. That's more dangerous than playing in the NFL, right, fellas? What do you think? I think it's a little more, I don't know, it's pretty dangerous. We got a couple of big deals over here and there. But I think that bull riding stuff, that looks bad. 1/10%, about the same as the auto racing. If you're president, take a look. It's about 5%, 6%. That's a lot better. But it's only good if you want to do one thing. You want to make your country strong and wonderful and great, and that's what I'm doing. But it is a dangerous profession, and we can't let it be a dangerous profession. We have to have better everything. We have to have better respect from countries that look at us, because we have to let them know. I'm still waiting for Biden to say, if you do anything to this guy that I hate Trump, but if you do anything to him, we're going to blow your country to pieces, and then you wouldn't need all this glass up here. You wouldn't need all the glass. And other presidents have said that. And even if it's your opponent, and even if it's somebody that helped them force you out of an election, which I didn't want to do, but you got to do that regardless, opponent or no opponent. You got to let a country know that you're going to play around. We're going to blow you to pieces, and then everything will stop. It'll be amazing. But today I'm honored to receive the endorsement of 3 union locals representing U.S. Steel, Mon Valley. And if they want, I'd like to call them up to the stage, including union leaders Brian Pavlak and Richard TK and Jason Zugais. Would you come on up here, fellas? These are good-looking people. Good-looking guy, yeah.
Executive order.
Oh, yeah. You guys can say something. Nice to meet you. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you. Thank you very much. That's great. You agree with what I said?
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Mr. President.
Good looking guys, huh?
It's an honor.
You like the Arnold Palmer story, I bet.
I love it.
Isn't it true?
Yeah.
Thank you.
President Trump, pleasure to meet you. Glenn Thomas, I work down in Braddock.
Thank you. Yes, you did. That's why we're here, buddy.
Hey, we got back up.
Would somebody like to say something?
Yeah.
Please, go ahead.
Brian started our movement, President Trump.
Good.
It's an honor to be on stage with you. All the steel workers here, honor to be on stage with you. I was up to Butler Rally when they started to assassinate you. And I knew after that I had to do what I had to do. So the president that saved the steel industry with tariffs, you saved it with tariffs.
Thank you.
And you're my hero, and you're the greatest president ever.
We love you.
We love you. So, Steelworkers for Trump and the rank and file Mon Valley Works want to endorse you. We want to give you a hard hat.
Oh, put it on.
And also another hat, too. Well, thank you, President Trump. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
It's such an honor.
It's my honor. Thank you very much. Don't make a lot of We're going to get
We
you a
want
lot
that
of, we're going to get you a lot of overtime.
Yeah, you
We
are.
want that.
Yeah. No tax on overtime.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
You know the steelworkers work a lot of overtime.
You never even heard about that, right?
No,
tax.
no. No
child support on overtime.
That's another one.
You take care of good.
I want you to put the hard hat on.
No child support on overtime.
Could we get a picture with you?
Yeah, let's go. Come on. Let's do it real fast, fellas.
They want you to put the hard hat on. Put the hard hat on over in front of it.
There you go.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Let's take a picture. Come on. We'll go fast. Let's go. Got it? They've got it outside.
Now he's going to be worried about his hair.
Let's go. We got to get back. Thank you, fellas.
Thank you.
Good job. Good
Maybe I'll see you backstage.
Good.
That's so awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, fellas.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's a lot of strength up here. A lot of great people, actually. I'm also thank you very much. Have a good time, fellas. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. They said you did stay. We really did. We saved the steel industry in this country. Now we're going to make it really powerful again, along with autos. Great guys, great people. Those are great people. I'm also, and that have been beaten up for a lot of years unfairly because we had stupid politicians or corrupt politicians. I'm not sure which. I'm also honored to have the overwhelming endorsement of the rank and file membership of the Teamsters. That never happened before. Never happened before. Never happened before. And also we have something else, the law enforcement. Virtually every group in the United States from law enforcement, every single group, the sheriffs, the police, the Fraternal Order, 400,000 police, they all endorse me. So thank you very much. Thank you. I don't think she has one. She's a disaster. She wanted to defund. She was involved in defund the police. I think when you defund the police, that's the end of that. With 4 more years of Kamala Harris, Pennsylvania will be an economic wasteland. That's going to happen. And I'll tell you, with me, you're going to make more money than they've ever made before. You're going to have the best salaries, the lowest taxes. You're going to be doing better than you ever did. And we're going to put this into motion fast. You can do it very fast. Very simple, too. Kamala's inflation has already cost the typical family over $30,000 in higher prices, and now she wants to raise typical family taxes by nearly $3,000 a year. Just take a look at this video, please.
Kamala Harris is going to significantly raise taxes. Prices have already soared. Now she'd make it worse with even higher taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up.
President Trump will cut taxes again. No taxes on tips, overtime, or Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
You know, they said to me up here, we like the overtime the best. I said, yeah, you probably. You like the overtime, right, fellas? That's right. I figured you had something. That's right. You're not worried about the tips. You like that overtime, right? But a lot of people like the tips. And if you're a senior, you know what you like. You want the Social Security, no tax on Social Security. Think of it. No tax. No tax on Social Security benefits for our seniors. And they deserve it because, you know what? Inflation with their fixed income, mostly fixed income, inflation has absolutely destroyed our seniors and other people that are on fixed income. So I will also make interest on car loans fully tax deductible. That's a big deal. You know, they said one of the top guys on Wall Street called up and he said, you know, we have an incredible situation here. Where did you come up with that? It's like the paperclip. I said it the other day. Like 125 years ago, some guy took some steel and he bent it around a little bit. He came up with a paperclip, and other people looked at it. He made a lot of money, very rich man. And they said, why the hell didn't we think of it? You know, the one having to do with the deductibility of car loans. So simple. And the top guys on Wall Street, real geniuses, they called up, they said, how did you think of that? It's so simple. But, you know, to have the American dream, you want to have a car. And this will make, and I think this is going to be fantastic for Detroit and South Carolina and Tennessee and all of the areas that that produce cars. One thing I have to say also, we have in Mexico, and I've been talking about it for the last year and a half, China is getting ready to build massive car plants, massive, which would wipe out Michigan, would hurt you, but would wipe out Michigan. Detroit would be gone. And they're the biggest plants in the world. I have a friend that does that. He builds plants. He doesn't do anything else. All he wants to do is build plants. And I called him up a year ago, a little more than that. I said, I want to see a plant. I want to go see a plant. You think Biden calls people up and says, I'd like to see a plant? I don't think so. He wants to just go. He wants to go to sleep. And she wants to do other things. We don't know what they are. We'll find out, unfortunately. No, but I said, I want to see a plant. He said, well, I can't really take you to the U.S. because we're not building the good ones. But the big ones are being built in Mexico. I said, what do you mean Mexico? They're being built by China. And they're the biggest in the world, actually. And one plant will be doing more than all of Michigan. So I said, this is not good. And then they think they're going to take the cars, build them, and sell them over to the United States or go around a little horn and sell them to the United States and destroy our automobile. And it would destroy. So I said, I've had it. And I started talking about tariffs. We're going to put massive tariffs on these companies that are coming in and destroying our jobs and our companies. And so I went very public with it for the last 4 months about tariffs. I love tariffs. I love tariffs, what they can do for your income and protection, and even third-party things you can do just by the threat of tariffs, because we're the pot of gold. We won't be the pot of gold long if we don't do something. So I was making a speech the other day in Detroit at the Economic Club, which is a great place, it's beautiful, and talking about cars. And I saw the man that is the great car factory builder who I know, John. I won't give his full name, but John. And I saw him, And I said, could I see you after the speech? I made the speech. I went to see him. I said, how are those plants coming, the big ones in China? They said, sir, they just canceled them because they think you're going to get elected, and they don't want to build them because they won't be able to pay tariffs. We just canceled them. I didn't even do anything. And I just saved Detroit. I just saved every car-making state. No, but think of it. I thought to myself, just the threat of tariffs, they canceled these multi-billion-dollar auto factories. Auto machines is what they really are. Now, will I get credit for that? I don't think so, but we know. But he just said, because of you, they think you're going to get elected. They think you're going to charge tariffs that are so much that it won't be possible for them to survive. And China just canceled those big, beautiful factories that would have destroyed our country in terms of automaking. And, I think it's great. And now people are starting to see it. They're saying that was a pretty good thing to do. I didn't even do anything. Just the mere threat of that beautiful word kept what we have. Don't forget, a lot of it's been taken over 50, 60 years. We were the greatest powerhouse. We will have that back soon. I think we can compete with it. We will have that back soon. We're going to have so many auto plants and so many steel plants built in this country now. So simple, too. It's so simple. And I've been talking about this for the last couple of months, and people are starting to understand it. They're starting to understand it. And China does it. They've been doing it for a long time. They say, we don't want your cars. If you want to build a car, you build it in our country. They did it with Harley Davidson in India. They charge a 200% tariff on a motorcycle. They said, if you want to do this, you have to build it. We don't want your motorcycles. We're going to charge you 200. Harley Davidson said, we don't sell any in India. Tariff's too high. I said, what are you going to do? They said, we've got to build a plant over there, sir. We're the only one that doesn't do it because we're ruled by corrupt and stupid politicians, but we're doing it now. As we build our economy, we will also restore our borders. For 4 straight years, Kamala has imported an army of illegal alien gang members and migrant criminals from prisons and jails they come, from insane asylums and mental institutions. And all around the world, they come from Venezuela to the Congo. They come from the Congo now. A lot of them are coming out of the jail. Federal benefits are for Americans only. I just want them to be only for Americans. Kamala is telling you, if you vote for her, it's 4 more years of the same. Take a look.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
I stood there on the tarmac watching you check your watch.
The chaotic and deadly U.S. evacuation from Afghanistan stunned Americans and the world and cost the lives of 13 U.S. soldiers.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
Gut-wrenching new details in the murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national who crossed the unsecured southern border back in 2022.
2 men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
A 5th illegal immigrant accused of attacking 2 New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Only 18% say the economy is in excellent or good condition.
US inflation has hit a new 40-year high, increasing by 9.1% over the financial year.
The cost of homes have spiked. Home buyers need to earn 80% more than they did in 2020 to afford a house.
Were you the last person in the room? Yes.
That's it. All right. She'd do nothing different than the worst administration in the history of our country. The happiest person in life. He just turned over 100 years old now. He's over 100. He turned a few weeks ago. Jimmy Carter. He's the happiest man around. You know why? Because he looks brilliant compared to this administration. The Carter administration is brilliant compared to these people. He didn't destroy our country at the border. Pennsylvania, if you want to end this disaster, you must get out and vote. You have to go and vote. Get everybody you can. And ladies and gentlemen, we can start really well. As a man, I'm going to call him up real quickly. His name is David McCormick. He is a great man. Been successful at everything. He's smart. He's tough. Everything he did turned out to be great, and I think this is going to be just a start. Vote for him for the Senate. Your particular senator right now is a total stiff. Thank you. Who says he's my best friend? He just announced he's for me with tariffs. I don't know the gentleman. This is the guy that's going to do it. David McCormick.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. Well, Mr. President, it all comes down to Pennsylvania. It all comes down to the Keystone State. We've got to put you back in the White House so we can have strength and common sense policies and fight back on this crazy liberal agenda, the weakness of Kamala Harris that is taking us over the cliff. So we're with you, Mr. President, 100%. We're going to fight for you, but we also got to get a majority in the Senate so we can put those common sense policies in place, and that's why we got to retire Bob Casey, 30-year career politician. He's weak, and he's voted 100% with the crazy liberal agenda of Biden-Harris. We got to send Bob Casey home. And, Mr. President, first time today, I just heard this an hour or two ago. Good news. First public poll that says McCormick's in the lead over Casey. We're going to win this. But we need to fight for the next 17 days. No sleep. Take our country back. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, David. David's a good man, and he's going to really represent you, and he's going to work with us on getting your taxes down, etc. We're also joined by Representatives John Joyce, great guy. Where's John? Hello, John. Dan Muser, who's fantastic, my friend, all my friends, and Byron Donalds of Florida. And also, I tell you, if you're a football fan, these guys are good. I guess they're going to the game a little bit later or something. You going to the game? Are you going, or are you going to watch it on television? Former NFL stars, Antonio Brown. Oh, he was a good player. He was a good player. And Le'Veon Bell, really good players. And Mike Wallace. Come on up, fellas. Come on up.
Let's vote for Trump, baby. Make some noise for the president.
Do they not know he's racist?
Let's go, Trump. You already know. Vote Trump. Let's go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go, Steelers.
See you tomorrow at the game. Good. Thank you so much. I'll be going to you at the game. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you. They look good. We're also deeply honored to be joined by Gold Star family members of the service members, several of them who gave their lives in Afghanistan. So horrible. So horrible that this had to happen. They're friends of mine. Many of the families are friends of mine. I've gotten to know them over this, and it's just horrible. Should have never happened, would have never happened. Corporal Hunter Lopez and his family is here. We're honoring these people. Corporal Humberto Sanchez. Staff Sergeant Taylor Hoover. Sergeant Nicole G. And Corporal Kareem Nikui. Thank you very much. Great people. I got to know them very well. Should have never, ever happened. 13 people, many so badly injured. We have to talk about them. I talk about them all the time with the legs and the arms and just obliteration. So I want to thank you all very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you. I also want to thank Elon Musk because when I called him on North Carolina and Georgia, as you know, they had almost no, especially in North Carolina, they had no communication. The lines were all down a few weeks ago with the hurricane, Helene. And I called Elon. They said, you know Elon Musk? I said, I happen to know him. What do you want? We need Starlink. I said, what is Starlink? Tell me, please. Give me a lesson. Tell me. And they told me it's basically great communication and up to a satellite and back. And they said, we just have to have it. We can't get it because it's very hard to get. And I called Elon, and he had it there in literally in moments. It was amazing how fast he got it there for them. So I want to thank Elon for doing that. That was great. People of North Carolina. So we're working very hard for Pennsylvania, but in breaking news, it was just announced that the highly respected Florida judge who is overseeing our case against the Pulitzer Prize Board for awarding their once highly respected prizes to the failing New York Times and the Washington Post. These are really fake news papers. You call them fake news papers, but they're fake news, Russia stories. They got the Pulitzer Prize for Russia. It turned out to be a fake story. So I figured, what the hell, on your behalf, I'd sue their ass off. And he's ordered Discovery to move full speed ahead. He wants it to go. That means that we will be able to learn the full scale of their lies, deceit, and wrongdoing, and we'll hold these radical lunatics accountable for the lying that they've done to the American people. What they've done is incredible. Think of it. They got the Pulitzer Prize for their great reporting on Russia, and then it turned out to be a hoax, and now everybody knows it. So I want them to return those Pulitzer Prizes, and I think lots of damages should be awarded to a lot of different people. So here are the facts. Kamala Harris is a radical left Marxist rated even worse than Bernie. She destroyed our economy. She was an original creator of defund the police. And anybody who wants to defund it cannot be president of the United States. We cherish our police. And we're going to give them back their respect and their dignity and let them do the job. And crime will fall. Kamala Harris vowed to abolish ICE. These are tough people. I know a lot of tough people right in this first few rows. They're not tough like these guys. As California Attorney General, she redefined child sex trafficking, assault with a deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person as totally nonviolent crimes. She pledged to confiscate your guns and endorsed a total ban on handgun ownership. She even called for free sex changes for illegal aliens and detention at taxpayers' expense. She lied about working at McDonald's, a simple thing. You know, I think very soon, maybe tomorrow or something, I'm going to McDonald's to work the French fry. I think I'm doing it tomorrow. And I think it's in a place in Pennsylvania, and I'm going to stand over that French fry. You know, she lied about her. You know, it's a very basic thing to say. They'll say, oh, look at all that press. That's a lot of press. But they're going to say, oh, it's so basic. It is basic. But the basic is easier to understand. She said, as part of her resume, for years, I worked at McDonald's, you know. It's probably tough. But she never worked there. It turned out to be a hoax. So on top of all of this, Kamala turned on our military and wants to make them woke. Take a look at our real military. Just take a look at it.
You little scumbag! I got your...
Look at it.
You will not laugh! You will...
This is the part in the program where I can't show it. Sorry. It is what it is at this point. This is where he shows clips from the movie Full Metal Jacket, and then they show the Transformers, and Transformers that are in the military, they're in full regalia, they're in their uniform, and then they do the quick change thing, and then they come out as a full Transformer. Military guys, DEI wokesters, in full Transformer regalia. And so the people upstairs don't like, one, showing copyrighted material, which the clips from Full Metal Jacket, and then of course they don't like you basically using footage of the Transformers to, kind of poke fun at them. That's bad. They might get offended. So, listening to the rules, sorry, those are the rules here for now. Maybe when Trump gets elected and he brings in a whole different FCC or something, maybe they'll change it. But right now, they're trying to clamp down on anything related to Trump. So, I just have to be careful with music, with copyrighted material, and then, of course, the Transformer stuff, which we're not even allowed to talk about at all. So, back to him.
That wasn't exactly woke. So, in conclusion, and thank you for being here, everybody. This is beautiful. We'll get you out real fast. We're going to get you go watch that game tonight, right? We really do appreciate this kind of crowd and love. The love that we've had is incredible. But with your vote this November, we are going to fire Kamala Harris. We are going to save America. We're going to rebuild our nation for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. With your support, we will teach our children to love our country, honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. We will cut your taxes, demolish inflation, slash your prices, raise your wages, and turn the United States into the manufacturing superpower of the world. We will hire American, buy American, build American, and show the whole world that the American dream is back, bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. I will end the war in Ukraine, stop the chaos in the Middle East, and prevent World War III, and I'm the one that can do it. I'm the only one that's going to do it. I will crush violent crime and give our police the support, protection, and resources. And we have to give them respect again. We're going to give them respect like they've never had. And they're going to get rid of crime, and they'll get rid of it quickly and efficiently. We cannot live with the kind of crime that we're living with in our country today. We will strengthen and modernize our military. I rebuilt our military, and now we're going to modernize it still further. We will build a missile defense shield, all made in the USA, including the Commonwealth is going to build a lot of it. We're entitled to it. We're entitled to it. Others have it. We want it too. And we will land an American astronaut on Mars. Get ready, Elon. Get ready. We got to land and we got to do it quickly. But a lot of that has to do with military, the space. I created Space Force, and it's going to go down, in my opinion, it's just about the most important with time of the forces. We were way behind Russia and China, and now we're leading them by a lot. It's a great thing. Space Force, first time in 82 years since Air Force that this happened. We will rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. We will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools. And we will immediately keep men out of women's sports. I will defend religious liberty. I will restore free speech. And I will defend the right to keep and bear arms, our Second Amendment. And we will end sanctuary cities and stop illegal immigration once and for all. We want people to come into our country, but they have to come in legally. After years of building up foreign countries, defending foreign borders, and protecting foreign lands, we will finally be going to build our country, defend our borders, and protect our American cities, suburbs, and towns. We will protect them like they have never been protected before. We will not be invaded. We will not be occupied. We will not be conquered. That's what they're doing. This is an invasion into our country of a foreign military. We will be free and proud as a nation again. Everyone will prosper. Every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity and hope. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her radical left agenda once and for all. It will happen. Will happen. We want a landslide that's too big to rig. So early voting is underway. Get everyone you know and vote. After all we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. These will be 4 of the greatest years in the history of our country, and it's going to happen quickly. With your help, from now until Election Day, we will redeem America's promise, and we will take back the nation that we love. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. We will never give in. We will never back down, ever, ever, ever. And we will never, ever surrender. Together we will fight, fight, fight. We will vote, vote, vote. And we will win, win, win like we have never won before. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country, and together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Pennsylvania. Thank you. God bless you all. And we will make...
All right, so you heard Trump again tonight. It feels a little spicy tonight. Definitely a little spicy. I mean, he didn't hold back any punches. And I think you guys have to now realize, he didn't say the word landslide tonight. I don't know if you guys heard it. I don't think he said it tonight. But he was in a different attitude. He's elevating it. You can tell at this point the difference between the two of them. She walked off stage tonight after she walked off stage tonight after a 6-minute speech. She left after a 6-minute speech, and this dude is dancing after talking for an hour and nearly an hour and a half. And she couldn't finish a 6-minute speech. He's fired up. He's out there just rallying people. I see the trolls in here, and I just laugh at you guys at this point. You might as well just go collect your checks from Kamala. Just say, we tried. We've done everything you've asked. We've tried to make these people think twice. It ain't working. Or just keep collecting your check. I don't know. I don't care. And if she wants to run ads here, yeah, I'll take her money. Go ahead, run the ads, idiot. Who do you have working for you that you're running ads on a Trump-oriented channel? That just goes to show you. Maybe you should have hired me or my buddies at the agency, because we would have shown you how to actually run ads for people who might have an interest in your crap. But it just basically underscores everything that's wrong with this woman at this point. They don't even know how to use targeted advertising. And you're blowing people's money because it's not yours. And then you get the trolls that come in here because they've been told to march like the orcs that they are, and then they get spanked and ignored. Everything about you is losing. Everything about Kamala Harris, she's just missing. She's throwing up foul shots blindfolded. It's just not working, and I think she's starting to feel it. And if you see the difference between him and what he's doing versus what she's doing, there's really no comparison. None. So I think as we're getting ready to close out the home stretch here, as we've got a little over, 16 days to go, and he's just ramping up and just keeps going. God forbid he stays safe. That's the biggest thing at this point. Every time I see him walking in front of the crowd and doing this, your heart just starts palpitating because you're like, dude, you got to stay safe. You got to stay safe. Looking at Poly Market right now, she's not closing the gap at all. In fact, it's getting worse. Let me see if I can show this to you when he gets done off the stage. Go ahead. Go do what you got to do. Get out. Get back on that jet and get out of there. Wow. I'm feeling it myself. I'm really feeling energized. I hope you guys are feeling energized because I can feel it. Yeah, I understand some of you guys heard the news from Georgia and there's crazy stuff going on in Michigan. Let Laura Trump handle that. There's nothing we can do about those stories that you're hearing. Those are all things that she's going to have to deal with. What I'm talking about is they figured out that there are more people, there are more ballots than there are people registered or live in Michigan. So they're already finding, they're trying to do what they did in 2020. It's happening. Georgia, there's allegations of the machines not working. But as you can see, I'll refresh it so you guys know I didn't store this. Let's go ahead and refresh it. She's getting buried. Absolutely buried in Polymarket. So those of you guys who don't know what Polymarket is a betting site where people, not like a poll where they're calling a few, hey, what do you think? Who are you gonna vote for? These are people who are actually putting money out there. And even with people trying to influence it, somebody, wink wink, put a $500,000 bet on Kamala yesterday. And for a second, it fluctuated because, it shifts the odds a little bit. But today, it went right back to a 21-point lead for Trump. They can't stop. They can't stop him. As many of you know, we keep saying, no one can stop what is coming. They don't have any answer for him. Tomorrow, we are going to be broadcasting what I think is going to be a huge event. Because where it's located, it's going to be in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And those of you who don't know, that's Amish country. That's Mennonite country. That is red as red can be. But it's going to show you a different slice of life. The people who live in Lancaster, you're going to get a lot of Trump people who travel and get there. But you're going to see a ton of Amish. And I'm going to have a special video for tomorrow pre-show telling you just how the Amish are coming out in full force for Trump. That's going to be tomorrow at 4:30. 4:30 tomorrow, we'll get together and do that. But, yeah, Kamala at this point, I completely agree. Kamala should just save her money. She's about to be unemployed. It's over. Barring our worst nightmare, but let me put it this way. I'm not worried about it because Laura Trump is now in charge. It's not Ronna McDaniel. I'm very sure Laura Trump knows all the tricks that happened in 2020. I'm sure she's really aware. I know she's got an army of lawyers ready as well. That's why I don't seem too worried if people ask me, hey, Barry, are you freaking out about, all this stuff we're hearing? No, because it's not Ronna McDaniel. That's the biggest reason why I'm not worried so much about the stuff that you're hearing. If it was Ronna McDaniel, I'd be like, oh, here we go again. She's going to drag tail, and because they really wanted Trump to lose. Laura Trump's not going to be that way. And I think that's what you can really put your faith in. Teresa Stevens said lots of blacks and whites in Lancaster. Yeah, exactly. It's not over. I just addressed that. I can't answer that. I believe in God. And I'm putting my faith in that this thing is the right thing to do. And I am not going to worry about something I can't control. There's nothing we can do about that. The only people who can control that are the people he's put in place. So they may try, but put it this way, they will try. Gavin Newsom is already trying. Some of these other blue states are also. But there's a couple indicators that you should probably take a look at. Tammy, what the heck's Tammy's name? Tammy, not Duckworth, whatever her name is, over in Wisconsin, is now using Trump in her ads. Wants no parts of Kamala. Why would that be? Bob Casey in Pennsylvania is now using Trump in his ads. Doesn't want any part of Kamala. Don't even come near her. So if they're bailing on her, if her own people are bailing on her, historically, from all elections, that has told you when they don't want you to be a part of their re-election campaigns, that means it's really, really bad. So those kind of things are more important to me. Yeah, I'm feeling it. Again, I can't help people who see the stories about what's going on. I know you're nervous because of what happened before, but this is different. You didn't see the amount of black people who were jumping behind Trump in 2020. That wasn't there. You didn't see the amount of Hispanics that are now for Trump. That wasn't there in 2020. There's so many different aspects. The Arab Americans I played earlier in this video who are like, nope, we ain't voting for her. We are in uncharted territory. The phrase too big to rig, I believe, is there. They are going to have to make fools of themselves. So if indeed they're trying to do all kinds of different things, they're going to get caught. There are too many eyeballs at this point. They know what to look for. This isn't something that is sneaking up on anybody. In fact, when you're seeing the stories, maybe they are letting it happen. Because in order to catch somebody, they actually have to do something. And so I got to believe they've got all kinds of fail-safes in place just in case something like that happened. Yeah, this is going to be epic. This is going to be epic. And yeah, that's a good point there. If you really are worried, go be a poll watcher. Watch, count, look what's going on. Don't leave. Don't make them force you out. Hey, we got a water main break, wink, wink, and everyone's got to leave. What about those people? Oh, no, they're going to help out. Ooh, no. See, they got tricked. People got tricked into leaving last time. They allowed them to put stuff up on the window so you couldn't see in. Nah, not this time. I'll throw you through the window. Nope, that ain't going to happen. There's no way, this is from Mini Mix, there's no way in hell Trump should lose. The numbers just don't add up for him winning 20. It's so much different. I try to bring you guys data. You know, in closing here, I was going to do a separate video, but let me just show you something, all right? Oh, somebody said he did say landslide today. So he's used landslide twice in a row. 2 nights in a row he mentioned the words landslide. Not too big to rig, but actually landslide. Let me just show you something. Hopefully it'll give you guys some breathing room and how bad things are at this point for Kamala. And, you know, I do this, I had been doing this quite a bit and pointing this out. Let me do it real quick here. So I want you to see something. All right, so this is, let's see which window do I want to use here. I'll use this one. This is the real clear politics average, as they say. Okay, and let me pull this up. Let me help you guys look through. All right, so this is the top battleground states according to, you know, everyone calls battlegrounds. And so the top battlegrounds, it's all red. It's all red. And this is as of today. It's all red. She's in big trouble. But I want to dig a little bit deeper because I want you to really feel confidence. I'm tired of people worrying. Worrying is a sin. First of all, pray. Because if you're worried, you're sinning. Put your trust in God. Understand where we are. That's what I'm doing. But let me just show you something. Let me look at Wisconsin. All right. So what I want to show you about Wisconsin, which is really important. Let me pull this up so you guys can see it. I hope you're following me. All right. This is important. In 2020, as you guys can see, I'm hiding some information because I want you to focus on this. In 2020, Biden was supposedly up by 6.2% on this date in 2020. Biden was up by 6.2. In 2016, Clinton was up by 6.5. And remember, the margin of winning for Biden was only like 4 or 5 points. So when you look at this and say, oh, well, Trump's up. So you can't see it. Let me pull it up. There it is. Trump is up. This time 6 years ago and 8 years ago, he was way down. But look at something even deeper. I want to show you this. All right. The polls show Trump up the average of Wisconsin at 0.2. Average. And so what you see averaged in here, and this is where the pollsters will try to trick you. If you haven't done math, or it's been a long time since you did any mathing, let me just tell you what's going on here. You got a poll that was released on October 17th, which is Atlas Intel. And then you got nothing for a long time in Wisconsin. So this +2 down here is skewing the entire poll because that's from September 29th. Because they're not updating, and these three things, Wall Street Journal, blah, 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 are all tied, they're not updating anything. So it's skewing the numbers, meaning they're leaving the stale milk in the refrigerator. And a lot has happened since, back in October 8th, back in September 30th. A lot has happened since then and continues to happen every single day. Even the Brett Baer interview has happened since then. And they're like, well, we're not going to talk about that right now. So this poll, throw it out. Means absolutely nothing. All right. Now let's look at Arizona. Arizona, this time 4 years ago, Biden was up 3.1. Clinton, 8 years ago, was up 0.4. Now you got Trump up 1.6. You see the flip? But it's even worse than that because, as you can see, there are these old polls sitting here from Wall Street Journal from October 8th. Today's the 19th. That's 11 days ago. That's skewing it. It's got her +2. Even the ones that have Trump, they're not redoing it because they don't want to tell you the real numbers. This is from 9 days ago. This is from 6 days ago. Because they can see the trend. CBS News did one 3 days ago and it's +3. So they're like, back off. We don't want to show this. And I hope you're digesting this information. Now we'll go to which one? We're in. This was Arizona. Did we do Nevada? I don't know if we did. No, Nevada. Okay, Nevada. Biden was up 5.2. Clinton was up 4.7. Boom. Trump's ahead. That's a 6-point flip in this election. That both those other two candidates were ahead. And again, you can see these are old ass polls. This one here, all these down here are just stale milk left in the refrigerator. They don't want to update the numbers because they know what's happening. And Trafalgar, that's a piece of crap poll. And Trump is still leading. All right, so from there we did we do Arizona? I think we did Arizona. Yeah, we did Arizona. Let's go to Michigan. Michigan. Biden was up 7.3 4 years ago, and Clinton was up 12. Those are huge margins in Michigan. You guys can see that, right? As of today, Trump's up 1.2. That means he has flipped Michigan 13 or 14 points since 2016, and he's flipped Michigan nearly 9 points since 2020. These are the numbers that are the external polls. We don't even know the internal stuff, but just the fact that the externals are like Trump's flipped it by 13, 14%. Again, down here, you got these old polls. The only one that's blue is 11 days ago. Why are you people, in the heat of a race, why are you not updating this on a daily basis? So you're seeing the only thing that's showing her, and that's a long time ago. All right, so that was Michigan. All right, let's look at Pennsylvania, where Trump was today. Let's look at Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, you have Biden. Let me lower it a little bit more because I'm trying to hide it. Biden was up 3.8. Clinton was up 6.2. Oh, it's Trump, which means, again, he's flipped it 7 points since 2016, and he's flipped it 5 points since 2020. You getting what I'm talking about now? And then again, down here, you got these old ass polls that are flipping, are causing her to look better. This hasn't been updated. Quinnipiac hasn't updated it in 11 days, 12 days. Today's the 19th. Lowell, 10 days. Why are you guys not updating? Isn't your business polling? What's the issue here? Because they can't lie now. They're too close. And all of these things has flipped. And also, I wanted to tell you about Pennsylvania. There's 180 to 200,000 Amish people who have never registered to vote before who are voting for Trump. It's almost like 100% voting block that they're voting for Trump. So that was Pennsylvania. North Carolina. How did North Carolina look? Let's see here. Okay. So in 2020, at this day in the race, Biden was up by 2.5. Clinton was up by 2.8. Boom. Trump's ahead. And again, you see the same thing. This one's updated 10/17, and everything else, we're just not going to do it anymore. And he's ahead. He has flipped it completely from the prior elections. Let's go one more. Let's look at Georgia. And Georgia, Biden was up 1.6, and in 2016, Trump took it by 5.3 when he beat Hillary. Where are we right now? Oh, Trump's ahead in this one too. And again, nobody wants to update. You see what gets me excited? Because I know numbers and I know the shenanigans that these people are pulling, and they don't know what to do at this point. It's just becoming overwhelmingly clear because Trump has the dailies. He knows exactly what the polls look like. I don't have any faith in them because of what I just showed you. So you know at this point, the same as me, that these people are playing all kinds of games and shenanigans, and I just wanted to make sure you guys saw that. Early voting in Texas Monday. Thanks for the info. Who saw the Harris Waltz sign in Amish country? The guy climbed up the tree and took the sign off the tree. That's too funny. It's absolutely too funny. The brainwashing and propaganda machine of the mainstream media ain't fooling anybody. That's a statement right there. They're not fooling anybody at this point. Even they know Kamala is sorry. The Democrats backed the wrong horse, which is, I don't know why they even put her in, but thank you. Thank you. You're telling me there was nobody else on your bench. But I don't care. That's what you chose. You wanted to install her. You have at it. You should have known then. Don't let the dead vote this time, somebody said. No dead to vote this time around. Illegals are voting. Blacks no longer needed. I can't address this stuff, man. I just can't. There are so many naysayers and so many people worried. I can't even. As a former athlete, I never went into a game, what happens? We might lose today. Nope, don't do it. When all the other indicators are telling me something, not one, every single indicator is telling me landslide. I pointed it out over and over and over, and I still get people who say, oh, but you know what, the newcomers and this, then you're not trusting that he has the right people in place. If what he learned anything in 2020, he knows he has to have people in place to make sure this doesn't happen again. Let me ask you a question. How did the information get out about what happened in Michigan and what happened in Georgia? How did it happen? Well, because people are paying attention and they're raising the flag right now. Red flag. Something's going on. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this real quick. You don't think Laura Trump has sent a team in to check that out right away? If you don't think Laura Trump has sent somebody in to check these things out, then you don't have faith in Trump. If you're more worried about what the bad guys are going to do than what the good guys are going to do, then you're not looking at things in a correct prism. Stop worrying. Put your faith in God. Put your faith in Trump that he's got the team in place. As I said earlier today, I had no idea, none, that Tiffany Trump's husband was working with the Lebanese and Arab markets, the voting markets behind closed doors. Something is going on, and Kamala can't fight it. God, I'm just saying, I never want to go into a game. RNC, 200 lawyers are on it. Let them do their stuff. Let them expose everything. You notice something Trump said the other day that freaked everybody out. If you do something, I can't say the word because of here, but if you do that, I'm going to arrest you. We're going to put you in jail. We're coming after you. And then what happened right after that? Oh my God, he's going to put his political opponents in jail. No. Don't F up. You won't find out. It's that simple. They're watching. Who knows? They may have put back doors in some of these machines to make sure people aren't doing something. Have you even thought about that? You know, Brian Kemp and everybody in Raffensperger and people are like, hey man, you know, they were no good. And at the same time, Trump shows up in Georgia after the hurricane and he says, this dude's doing a great job. Did you forget that? Did you ignore it? You think Trump is, you know, patting this guy on his shoulder, thinking, oh man, he's going to stiff me? Come on, man. Start thinking. Watch what you're seeing. Take the entire vista in and understand. He stood shoulder to shoulder with Brian Kemp. And unless Trump is a complete moron, unless he is a babbling idiot, then you have to know that he's got something with Brian Kemp and he was letting people know we're good. Now, I could be proven wrong on November 6th, but he'd have to be a mental midget. If Brian Kemp was holding a gun to his head and he's like, we're gonna make sure that Kamala wins, then that's on Trump and he sold us out. That's what you're saying. When you write comments like, oh, I'm worried about this, then you're in your mind you're saying Trump isn't competent enough to make this shit happen. I'd have to say shame on you. I don't know why you sit through a 2-hour broadcast and come. Don't worry. There's nothing you can do about it except volunteer and do different things. Make sure you're there. Go stand out in front of a drop box. Just stand there. Make sure you. And if somebody comes up and dumps a whole bunch, take a picture. Don't sit home and go, oh my God, what's going to happen? Get up, man. Get up. Vote early. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all good with Kemp. I got to believe at this point that the team he has put together, which is different than 2020. Look at the team that he's put together. He's got RFK Jr. He's got DeSantis. I know DeSantis is involved because I'm down here. I see some of the stuff going on. He's got Tulsi Gabbard. He's got J.D. Vance. And he's got the biggest technological advantage in his back pocket over anything the Democrats could possibly have. If this man can park a rocket, I'm pretty sure he could analyze a voting machine. Have you thought of that? He parked a rocket. A rocket coming from space at gazillion miles an hour slows down and parks better than most of us could probably do a backup parking job in a parking lot at a supermarket. And this dude parked a rocket. And then he showed us a robot walking around making drinks. And that guy's working for Trump. Working with Trump. He ain't working for nobody. Have you thought about all that? You don't think maybe his guys of master coders have said, here's what you need to look at, here's an algorithm, he is so far advanced over the people who would be trying to screw around, they could have put all kinds of honeypots and codes and everything else, and they're watching. The dude puts internet things up during hurricanes, Starlinks. Hey, get up there in the air and beam something down. It's got satellites all over the world. And you don't think a man who's that technologically advanced, even more so, a man that's that technologically advanced who dropped $44 billion on a network that he knows if the Democrats win, he's screwed. $44 billion. I'm pretty sure they have sat down and huddled and said, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to launch a satellite in each one of these states. I don't know. I can't even imagine if he sat down with his engineers. I am not that in tune with what they could do technologically. Only thing I'm in tune is that I'm sure he could. So chill, man, chill. Yeah, Elon has turned his science fiction into science. Absolutely. I mean, man, they're all one step ahead this time. Remember, the people he had in place last time didn't want him there. They were working in cahoots with stuff, we have since found out. His former vice president don't want to be around him. That should tell you something. That should tell you a lot right now. These people are like, oh man, if he gets in, we're screwed. Yeah, you're screwed. I don't know if you heard the other, in closing, let me say this. I'm going to cut up Elon's talk. In fact, he's talking again, and he seems to be drawing even more people than Trump. And these are younger kids and coders and stuff they didn't count on. But he said in his speech, there's a lot of stuff that we're going to reveal. I don't know if you caught it. Maybe I should post that. But he actually came out and he was walking on stage and said, there's a lot of stuff that we're going to reveal. They got it. He mined it. They knew what to look for. And that's why these people are absolutely freaking. I wish I had 1/8 of Elon's brain power. Not only that, not only his brain power, but the people that he's working with. Somebody says, Barry, you have no idea your help is getting to people, and they're waking up. Best chat out there. I'm not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. I'm just trying to show you what you can actually see for yourself. You know, I didn't make up those numbers on Polymarket or RCP. That's the numbers right there. I can see the dates. They haven't updated. Why haven't they updated? I know that Elon parked a rocket. You guys saw that. You saw that rocket. Trump keeps talking about it. I almost feel like subliminally he's telling people, the dude parked a rocket. I got a guy on my team that parks rockets. Kamala's got white dudes for Harris. Just think about that. I've got RFK Jr., who knows everything about anything about food, deep state, blah, blah, blah. And I got this guy who knows everything to the point technologically that we can't even think of some of the stuff that he does. And I'm like, I think the man's in some really good hands. I put confidence up, and I've seen how these people operate, and I'm like, yeah, he's got the Avengers. He's working with the Dream Team. And they can't combat that. I mean, all they're going to do is use Mark Elias and try to sue everything, but they don't have that, which is why they're terrified. The Dems don't want Trump to win because they'll make voting so locked down the Democrats won't ever win again. I completely agree with that. Yeah, think about this. What got exposed on the 19th of October was that you got more ballots than people. How did they find that out on the 19th of October? Didn't wait until November 6th. So they already know. We got you. We caught you. Now what do you do? Now what do you do? Because now it's been exposed. You cheat. I'm sorry, I almost said the word. Didn't mean to. You made a big mistake, and we caught your homework. Now what are you going to do? You're going to clean this up, or you're going to go to jail? Let us know. Because there's a reason why it got out. There's a reason why it got publicized. And I think they're saying, before this stuff gets counted, you might want to fix this, okay? Just letting you know. We know all the dead people. We know all the newcomers. Yeah, we know. We already know. How do you know? None of your business. But we know. So we're going to go... We're going to go public with this and go for there. My dog is barking because the Amazon guy decided to come while we're doing a show. So, excuse me. Midas, come here. He's doing his job. Why can't you say that? What the F is wrong with... Yeah. You can't say certain words, man. It's bad. I'm telling you, it's bad. You have no idea. And I know people are like, well, other people say it. Well, yeah, well, I'm just telling you what they've done to me and what they say. And you don't know on the back end with some of these people and how they've been treated, and you don't know who they're working with. I know what they say to me and how they keep, oh, sorry, can't do that. We're going to have to delete it. It's crazy. I agree with Midas. he thinks he's a pit bull. I mean, he really thinks he's like 90 pounds and got ferocious teeth. He doesn't understand he's 14 pounds and harmless. God hears our prayers. Yeah, absolutely. Barry, you're well versed in current affairs. Thanks for educating. Where'd that go? I don't know where that went. I don't, did I click it? Maybe it takes a second. I don't know why that didn't come up. Don't know. Okay. Elon has nothing to do with them fighting. Okay, let me see this. Okay. Elon has nothing to do with them fighting voting in states are creating duplicate illegal ballots, and again, after machines were supposed to be repaired, blah, blah, blah. Think about what you just typed. I know SV and a couple of the guys who are IT people, you just said that there's no way that Elon and his team of rocket scientists would ever be able to know what the code is on certain machines in certain areas. While you guys were watching Trump talk, I just want to let you know, like SV was looking at the code on my website to see if there was a problem with people, certain people not being able to enter my website. My tiny little website that I'm hosting a giveaway. He's in there going, okay, so I looked at the back of the code and blah, 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 the boom, the bing. And you're saying the guy who can park rockets couldn't, never mind. I don't want to upset you. Sure, yeah, he can't do anything. He can't do anything. Midas is mad as hell. He can't take it anymore. Yeah, he heard someone come to the front door, and he's like, I'm done with it. So anyway, he left that guy on the phone 45 minutes and forgot about it. Very interested to come to your election party. Yeah, we're still planning it, trying to get out everything from the venue, and we'll see. Man, if Elon bought YouTube, which he never would, I can't even imagine the price tag Google would put on it. It would be probably $150 billion. But then again, if you take the money back from Zelensky, then you could probably buy it. But they're not selling it. I just think a lot of things are going to happen differently when Trump wins. At that point, there's no longer like he mentioned, China pulled out of that deal. They're not building that plant. People are already starting to make their moves. As I've mentioned to you many times, make your moves, be prepared in case things go crazy. At the same time, business people are like, okay, it looks like it might be Trump. So what are we going to do, fellas? We're going to do this, we're going to do that. Okay, we have to, a prudent business person isn't waiting until January 20th to basically run their business. A business person has to know, okay, if this happens, we need to do this, and if this happens, we need to do that. So there's already a plan in place depending upon who wins. And if she wins, we're going to make sure we're really buddy-buddy, and we're going to go full DEI, and we're going to let everybody, all you wokesters, go crazy up in here, and you can wear whatever you want, and you're going to come to work 3 days a week, and you don't have to worry about being offended. And plan over here, if Trump wins, when he wins, all bets off. We're done with this crap. It cost me too much money anyway. I don't need a DEI officer on the board. You're gone and all this other stuff, and get your asses back to work, and no blue hairs and green. If you don't like it, go work someplace else. I'm telling you, those decisions are being made in companies all over the place. There was an article yesterday about, I forget which company, but it was Amazon. People were freaking out because Amazon's talking about, hey, you need to be in the office 5 days a week from now on, or whenever day. Let me see if I can find it, just to give you an idea of how people are freaking out. And why would Amazon have mentioned this now? Hold on. Just give you guys, okay. All right, so I want to show you this article that again, if you're not paying attention to all this stuff, I know I'm a news junkie. I'll admit it. Barry's out here reading and digesting all this stuff, but I want you to look at this. Amazon exec, Amazon. You know, Jeff Bezos, the guy who owns the Washington Post. Amazon exec tells employees to quit if you don't want to work 5 days a week in the office. There are other companies around. I love that. Think about that. On October 17th, this article comes out, and people are freaking out because, what do you mean we actually have to come to work? I have to have a nap. There's things I can't do this. My feels, my nipples hurt on Tuesdays. Nah, we're going back to a 5-day work week. Get your asses in here. Why do you think that he's making those kind of moves right now? Here, let's look at this real quick. It says on one of Amazon's top executives defended the new controversial 5-day work week in office. Read that again. Controversial 5-day per week in office policy. Now, some of you guys are probably the same age as me. I didn't know working 5 days a week in the office that hired you is controversial. These little millennial fluff cakes don't want to work 5 days a week, and it's controversial. Let that sink in. Speaking at an all-hands meeting for AWS, unit CEO Matt Garman said 9 out of 10 workers he has spoken with support the new policy, 90%, which takes effect. Oh, when does it take effect, people? You see that sentence right here? It takes effect in January. Snowflakes need not apply. Those who do not wish to comply, y'all can just step. Y'all can just hit the bricks. If there are people who just don't work well in that environment and don't want to, that's okay. There are other companies around. I rest my case. As I just said to you, there are companies that may still try to do that DEI stuff, and there are other companies that are already making way and realizing, hey man, the man's coming back, and playtime is over. Get your asses back into the office, and if you don't like it, step. We don't care. We're Amazon. AOC is not going to beat up on us. She's not going to have Biden and Obama and Elizabeth Warren to try and do some crazy stuff. We're telling you, get your butts back in the office or go home. Do whatever you want to do. You just can't be here. That's what CEOs are going to be doing. And it was just so interesting that it's like, oh, it starts in January. Well, that's interesting. Doesn't that make you think, well, why are they waiting until January? Yeah, they know new sheriff is coming. I've worked 7 days, sometimes somebody says. They cut Tootsie's feet. Who's Tootsie? Tootie. Who? They cut whose feet? I'm not sure who you're talking about. Make AOC a bartender again. Absolutely. Alphabet soup has expired. Absolutely. Barry, love your analogies. You're killing me. I'm just telling you. I'm going to have my old boss on. Once the guy's very busy. He's a billionaire and everything. So just want to let you guys know, we're trying to work out a schedule where I can record him. He owns a huge advertising agency. He used to own the Florida Panthers, wanted to buy the Miami Dolphins. The guy's got mega billions, and he's going to sit down with me, and some of the questions I'm going to ask him is that, what are you doing to prepare one way or the other? And he'll tell me. Some of y'all may not like what he has to say, but he's going to tell you what he's doing. When I see guys like Grant Cardone out there putting a sign in the ground and wearing a shirt, people with big money are telling you what they see. The people who don't have big money, or people who are on the left who have big money, like Amazon, they see it as well. We don't want to be on this dude's bad side. We don't want him dropping some sort of executive order that says, X, Y, and Z. CEOs. Oh, what am I talking about? Did you hear that Tim Cook from Apple called Trump for some information? Y'all making me work tonight. Yeah, Tim Cook and Trump. Okay, let me see that. Okay. Okay, here we got another one for you that you guys can look at. And then as you read this article, well, we won't read the whole article, but what you have to see is the headline is probably good enough. Why do you think that happened? Wonder what Trump says Apple CEO Tim Cook called him with concerns about EU penalties. Why would Tim Cook call someone who's not the president to ask him about EU penalties? Wouldn't he just call Joe Biden or Kamala? Hey man, the EU wants to crack down on me. I'm trying to do my business. The people in the boardroom. Who do we call? Let's call Trump. Why would they be calling Trump? This was, what day was this? This was 2 days ago. 2 days ago. The biggest company in America, maybe in the world, the CEO of Apple called Trump about some problems he's having over in the EU. Can you hook a brother up, man? Can you help me out a little bit? When you get in January, can we make some stuff happen? Let's talk, Tim. You don't think those conversations are happening on a daily basis? You don't think the phone lines in Trump Force One are burning up? Follow what's happening and what you're seeing. You guys are worried about some real trivial BS. The big money, Amazon, Apple, Jamie Dimon, the big money's like, all right, so he's coming back, yo. Yeah, all right, so let's do this. What we doing, Trump? What you got planned? There was no phone call with, you can read this article. Nothing at all about Biden. How does that make you? Have you heard that? By the way, they know Trump is going to be president. He knows who the next president is. Yeah, there's no reason why they'd be calling Trump and making these moves ahead of time. And you got the liberal media who really doesn't want to talk about it. You have to think a long term. These people, like I've said before, it's like turning an aircraft carrier. You just can't, spin the wheel and the aircraft carrier comes around. So you get a company like Apple worth $1 trillion. It's like, okay, let's start navigating to the right here, okay? Because all this crap that we've been doing for the last 4 years, this dude ain't gonna be here no more. So we've pacified him. We gave him his oatmeal, and she ain't worth even talking to. So let's just start looking over here. Hey, Trump, can we talk, bro? You gonna be able to help me out with this EU stuff? So if that's public, let me just put it this to you. If that's public, if the Amazon thing is public, you think those are the only two calls that have been going on? You think the only people who have said, hey man, we need to start getting ready for January, you think those are the only two companies out there? Use your brain. Just think. There's no mathematical plan or formula that you can say in your mind realistically and go, oh no, it's just those two guys. No, nothing else is going on. Those were the only two people. Well, I can tell you're a lie already because the Lebanese guy who is Tiffany Trump's husband has been talking back channel to Arab Americans. These conversations are happening all over the place. I bet you, and I have no proof, but I bet you Jared is out there talking to people in the Middle East. Jared Kushner. I bet you Ivanka's been burning up the phone. I bet you Don and Eric have been talking to people. I guarantee you Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has been talking to people. If what you see publicly is that big, if the CEO of the biggest company in the world goes public and says, yeah, we need to talk to Trump, then you better bet your big sweet dippy a lot of people are talking to him. Yeah, exactly, Teresa. Imagine what's private. Now, I have no proof. That is conjecture, but I know that it's not an isolated incident. It's crazy. I agree, Barry. So I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Where do I get my news from? Well, I just showed you. You saw it. I set up keywords. And when these keywords pop up, and I set it up for video, and I set it up for audio and papers, newspapers, websites, whatever, and I'm like, Trump business, put these keywords in, Trump business together, and you get things. And one of the biggest things, we've been talking for 3 hours, I'm hungry, but I'm going to give you something before you go here. So let me do this and show you something, because this is something you can take with you. I'm going to have to shift Windows here and put this up. Let's see if I can do this and go back to here. All right, so let me show you one of my really good tricks. Anybody can use it if you're part of X. So let me cut over here. This is X. This thing over here is called Grok. That is, I say Twitter. That is X's AI. So let me center this for you. All right. So right here in Grok, I can say, somebody texted me, it says ask me anything. So I can just put in Tim Cook Trump. I'm just going to start there. Let me see what shows up. Boop-doo-doo. And so that generated an image. So let me rephrase that. Let me just do it this way and put, oh wait a minute, I got to do it down here. News about Tim Cook and Trump. So now I click here. And lucky. lucky. And then you get all kinds of tweets and stuff that you can check as well. And it goes way back. And as long as you know a prompt to put in there, it'll start spitting stuff out to you. So if you know what prompts to put in, it's going to show you. And then this is going to be your gold tip of the day. If you click here and go to, if you pay for Twitter, and you go to X Pro, I want you to see something. You see all that? I don't know. I might have to make that smaller so you guys can all see this. This is how you do everything on X. Never go to your actual profile. Instead, you go to X Pro. And so these are stuff that I have already bookmarked. These are notifications that people have sent to me. And then over here are columns. And I could say add a column. So I want to, let's say I want to do a search. And I put in, right in here, Tim Cook. And I hit that. And let's see. I go through my filters and everything. Come on, work for me here. What are you doing? Show only verified people. Now I hit search. And looky. All of this stuff just got posted about Tim Cook. All of that. There's so much. There's Patrick David. He goes, Trump explains how Tim Cook's tariff deal saved Apple. Interesting article. I mean, interesting video there. But you see all that? Now I've got a completely focused feed just about that. So if you hear something, you can go on here and create an entire column of articles. So here, let me show you this, because let me go back here. I'm going to do a video about okay, let me add another column. It says, okay, Amish Trump voters. Let me see. And boom. So tomorrow, you're going to see some of the stuff that I just found right there. And I can filter through this so fast. And I can pull videos, and I can do different things. And this guy's appearing a couple times. So you see how I can pull all this information real quick? Because all I have to do, hey Barry, you're doing a show in an hour. What do you got to do? All right, so I'm going to bookmark this guy. Boom. And I'm going to bookmark a different one. I already have it bookmarked. And let's see what else we got. I already have that one bookmarked. Let's go ahead and mark this one. And this is somebody, I think they're in our forum. And then down here, Amish people, so I can, boom, just like that by bookmarking things, all those stories are ready for me. And so I'm going to go eat. I'm not going to do anything tonight, but tomorrow we've got the Lancaster rally. And I can just pull up that thread of everything talking about people in the Amish voting community. And I've got a show for you. I just gave you the secret sauce. And then, I have to read and I have to learn what the hell I'm saying and all that stuff. But that's basically what I do at that point. So let me, did I delete, where's the, did I delete? Oh, here it is. Okay. Yeah, Elon is in a town hall right now. You should look at that and see how many people are actually, what happened? Are in that town hall. Thank you. Yeah, love you, Barry. So, I don't have time to show you all stuff, but like yeah, I put it out there so you guys can all, see how much does it cost. I think to get Grok, I think it's like $8 a month or something, but I couldn't do what I do without it. And then there's another one called Perplexity. And Perplexity is another thing you can pull in all kinds of stuff and have searches ready for you. So I know tomorrow I'm doing a show on the Lancaster rally. So I need to pull in as many things as I can that make sense about the Amish vote. So that's how I'll do my research. And it takes me a little while ago. Over here. Yeah, to Twitter. Yeah, Barry, it's not that easy, but we try, brother. I know. You get there. It's very quick for me at this point because I've been doing it, and I know it can be daunting. Is X free like YouTube? X to view, read, post, comment is all free. Doesn't cost you anything. Not a single dime. All this stuff I've been showing you with Grok and stuff. That's not free. It's $8 a month. But if you're not doing, content, then you don't really need it. What is XTV? XTV is the app but the platform that Elon Musk is putting together to take on this place. Once he puts that together and he understands what he needs to do to monetize, the news stations might as well fold up. It's over. It's done. Nobody will ever need to go to MSN. In fact, if you notice, many of the news stations now either get their information or post their information on X because they know nobody's watching. So XTV is going to be the platform where you can basically watch television and all the stuff that you see on X. That's why I'm simulcasting this. That's why I've begun simulcasting, because the other hint is a lot of people on X post like 30-second, 1 minute, 2 minute videos. Well, the guy, if you listen to what Elon said, let me see if I can ever find it, where he's going. You see, part of what I do is I listen to what people say, and when I listen to what they say and what they tell you they want to do, then do it, because they're giving you information. Wait 1 second. Let me see if I can find this, and then we'll get out of here, and we can all go eat, and I can feed the dog, and let me see if it shows up anywhere. All right, so this was from March of 2024. And so when I read an article, I'm going to show you this, and then we're going to get out of here. What does that say? Musk says X's long-form videos will soon be available on smart TVs. And then he talks about long-form videos will soon be available on smart televisions, billionaire Elon Musk said, after Fortune magazine reported that the social network planned to launch next week a TV app for Amazon and some Samsung users. The platform rolled out an early version of video and audio calling from some users last October, after Musk said he planned to turn it into a super app offering services from messaging to peer-to-peer payments. coming soon, Musk said in a brief response on X to a user posting that the platform's long porn videos could be watched directly on smart TVs. Earlier, Fortune said the app could look similar to a TV app offered by YouTube. It cited an unidentified source as saying Musk was set on competing with YouTube. In the push to become, and this is what's most important, in a push to become, quote, a video-first platform, X has been forging partnerships with the likes of former Fox commentator Tucker Carlson, and then he blew off Don Lemon because Don Lemon got stupid. So, this was posted March, and it tells you what he has planned. I'm building a video-first platform for long-form videos to compete with YouTube. So if the guy who can park a rocket tells you that, what would you do? You get on X. And you realize you don't have to say baby removal. You can actually say what you mean. You don't have to say newcomers. You can actually say what you mean and do a video. The only part that he hasn't put together yet is the correct algorithm so stuff shows up when people want it. And then, of course, the monetization. Once he does that, Katie bar the door. I mean, it's just, it's going to blow up. So if you're a content creator watching right now and you're not putting your flag in the ground over on X, you're going to be lost. You're going to be way behind. You're going to be reading articles like at the end of 2025, you're going, I should have listened and got ready for XTV. Just saying. I already know that most of the people who watch my shows on YouTube watch it on their television. There's analytics that show me that. So if I know that most of the people who watch my show watch it on their television, not their phone, then he's building XTV, which people can watch on their TV. Barry, you're not stupid, so you better get ready. By the way, did you know he's got a phone app? I mean, do you know that I literally, if I went to my direct messages, I don't know if you guys can see it, but where's my wife? Where's my wife's thing here? Okay, so if I click on her name, I'm going to put it up to the screen so you guys can kind of see. She's been sending me all kinds of stuff in here, okay? I want you to see something. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but it's up in the upper left, up there in the corner. There's a little, you guys are facing it's on the left, there's a little phone handle there. And so what happens is, if I hit that phone in X, I am now calling my wife. Right there. Let's see if she picks up. She's probably going to yell at me. Is she calling? Hold on. Can you hear me? Wait a second. Babe, can you hear me? Babe. Yeah, just start talking.
Hello, texting 1, 2, 3, toast, 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 toast.
Yeah.
Toast.
Y'all hearing that? Say, I got you on the show. Say something.
Oh my lord.
Hold on.
Hello. From North Carolina.
All right, now I got you on speaker. Go ahead. Say hi.
Hi everyone. Hi.
How's everything going? I'm calling you from Twitter, and people are like, wait a second, you can make phone calls on Twitter? Yep, that's a phone call.
All right, mind me to kill you later, okay?
I love you. I love you. I'll call you back in a while.
You.
Bye. Bet y'all didn't know that, did you? Oh, I gotta see the comments at this point. Y'all was like, what? What is that? Yeah. Yes. Hi, Robin Barry said, tell Tesla's phone coming soon for $100. Yeah. Yep. It's that easy. It's that easy. You guys are like, you got to be kidding me. Yep. I just called her. Hi. That was it. He's doing some amazing things. Most people don't know that Twitter X is now a phone app. You can just make a phone call. Oh, you can also do it by video, too. She wouldn't let me put her video on because I don't know what she's doing. But I either can call as a phone or I can click the button and make a video call, just like FaceTime. Just make the call. So, somebody say we are so screwed. My wife's stepmom is there's no coming back, unfortunately, but she's praying. She's praying. Oh, I forgot to tell her. I was walking past a washing machine, and she had told me before she left there was a load in the washing machine to put it in the dryer, and she left on like Wednesday, and I just saw it today because I hadn't even gone. I mean, I'm a guy. I haven't gone in the washroom, but I'm like, oh my God, does it smell? And it didn't stink yet, so I put it in the dryer, so I'm good. All right, baby. Yes, you can do video chat as well. Absolutely. So how do I set that up? There's nothing to set up. I mean, you have to be direct messaging somebody, and once they are in your direct messages, you just click the button and give them a call. It's that simple. Yes, that's on the X app. Barry, is it 2 cell towers when you make a phone call? Can it be? I have no idea. I haven't dug into that. I just know you don't dial any numbers. It's just the entire thing is through X. So it's crazy. No, Elon will not have to buy buy YouTube. He gets those two things put together. He gets the algorithm in terms of it pushing videos to the people that want to see it, and he gets the monetization to compete with YouTube. Game over. Game over. I can't say that any more succinctly. All right, so let me go ahead and acknowledge people who have provided super chats so you guys can get out of here. And if we need to do like some sort of space or something and talk about, all the different reasons why I love X, we can do that as well. All right, so let us now address everybody. There's a whole bunch of them. Great rally. Thanks talking. Love to have you guys talking here. All right, so you don't have to stay, but I got to do this. Ernest, thanks, Barry, for the coverage of one man, Donald Trump, our president. Thank you. Barry from Diamond, you are a patriot. Thank you for your deeds. Thank you. Denise, thank you very much. Bonnie Mrozik, why have folks changed Americans to mere colors? Humanity is so screwed. Yep. They got to go back to that, too. Early voters have reported problems. Yes, we've talked about that. Thank you, Christine. Regina, how do I watch this on X? Can you just direct me what press? Basically, just go to my profile. You'll see my big head, and it's probably still running on X right now. I haven't disconnected. Mary Boston, thank you. Happy Saturday, Barry. Happy Saturday to you, as Donald Trump has said, and we have all deducted. Nicholas Lamonicus, thank you. Big Cat Brother, Go MAGA, absolutely. KRO, Magnificent Destiny or Malicious Democrats, vote and drive others there with you. Someone just might need a ride to get to the polls. Yeah. Ramona, thank you. Thank you. Lady Addie, thank you, Barry. This speech made my day. Man was confident. He was very confident today, as he was yesterday. Petras, never forget Vice President Scammell lied about working at McDonald's where kids go to play and told Christians that they don't belong at the rally. And skipped the Catholic Charities dinner that nobody skips. Frank Mendez, thank you, brother. Glad I followed you here from the Dolphins page. Keep up the good work. Thank you, sir. James Palmer, Barry, you do such a great job. We want to come to your party. Thank you. I'm still trying to get them to, give me the pricing and everything else. Logic or not, thanks, Democrats for Trump. Yes, love that. Mike McCarthy, I'm in a festive mood so close to the holidays. With that in mind, deck the halls with boughs of holly. Kama-la-la-la. Silencer, Dodgers fan for Trump. You're out there in L.A.? Stephen Witkowski, thank you very much. Terry Crabtree, said it earlier. Thank you again very much. And thanks for watching. C.G. Kraftbear, the newcomers being flown in, being given immediate citizenship. No, they can't, but they're trying to find a way around it by giving them basically IDs. Ernest Walker Barry is our streaming host with commentary for Trump 2024. Thank you for tuning in. Gigi Crafts again. newcomer flights to, yeah, exactly. Donna, hello. Democrats are jealous of us because we prevail where they fail. We have function where they have dysfunction. We have God where they have Satan. Well said. Lindsay Mosley, guys, my behind hurts and I feel guilty sitting and watching every day, but as long as Trump and Barry can work for us, my chores can wait a couple more weeks. You know, I get up in the morning, I'm like, what's this guy doing today? What? I just was going to do my show at 7 p.m., my normal show, and just, get back to doing news. And it ain't going to be that way. For the next 10, 12 days, he's got something planned every day. So I'm like, if this man's 78 and he can do it, and he got home at midnight last night and had to fly out to Latrobe, Pennsylvania, I can do it. Joy Kirkland, thank you. Mama Mima, he absolutely said it. Landslide too big to rig. Okay, great. Kirby, thank you. Another outstanding broadcast. Thank you for watching. Johnny Cole, brother. Tennessee beat Bama. See, I'll appreciate that, man. I don't ask for a lot. I really don't. But can you not give me the scores and the outcomes of the game before I get off the air? I got the DVR full of certain games, and then first thing I saw, hey, Barry, Notre Dame's kicking Georgia Tech's butt. Hey, Barry, Tennessee beat Bama. Don't be the spoiler, people. Let me enjoy football at least. Thanks, Johnny. Greg Gergen, thank you. Ryan, camel toe is only good for Texas Scratch Man. Trump leading on 538. Yeah, old Nate had to come around to reality. Glenda Cruz, thank you. Pat Ziegler, thanks, Barry, as always. Especially needed the pep talk polling. You can read all this stuff yourself. I'm not making anything up. Flippo Dada. Barry, my question to you is, will they be able to stop the counting like they did back then? I don't think so. I think everybody's looking for it at this point. Plus, it may just not be anything they can do. As I've said, if there's only 1,000 people in the city, you can't have 2,000 votes. Would you do an X space? Well, I'm glad you said that. This morning we had an impromptu space. Rick Adams, one of the guys inside the forum, decided he wanted to have a space, and he knew the right way to get to me. He went to Ashley and said, hey, man, we want to do this. Tell him to come on. So I'm in my underwears, and Ashley calls me at 9:15. Hey, Dad, you need to get on here. I'm like, okay. It was awesome. We had like 600 people show up. Trump looked great. Team out. Trump looked great and very confused. Good analysis, Barry. Thank you. Wonderbag, thank you. Pat Shiflett, thank you. Christine Engler, thank you. Thank you to everyone who helps keep this group amazing. Barry, can you make a list of every group that has come forward to publicly back Trump? Every? Okay. That's going to take some work. They picked, John Plotkin says they picked Kamala, Trump picked JD, RFK, Tulsa, and Vivek, and you forgot Elon. Gina Duncan, thanks, Barry. Midas is a watchdog par excellence. Yes, he got his feed, but now I got to go take him out because he's been holding it this entire time. Good doggy. I think he's been holding it. I haven't been out there yet. Jen Smith, thank you for all you do. Greetings from Fort Pierce. Okay. God's will be done. Absolutely. Olivia Gorial, Elon coming out with a smartphone cheap. Yep. Think about it. The dude can just put... I just called Robin. She's in Asheville. Asheville, where they're having all kinds of power and stuff. Problems. Picked it up and it was clear as day. Why am I getting tough topics? Why am I getting notified late? Says you started 3 hours ago, but I just got it. People upstairs. Donna, I have Roku on my smart TV with Wi-Fi. This is how I watch you on YouTube. I'm waiting for X to be on TV too. Yep, I have a Roku as well, and it's I love it. I wouldn't watch TV any other way at this point. And Paige Bennett, thank you, Barry. Thank you, Paige. All right, you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in and sticking it out. And 3 hours today. You guys make my day, and we'll see you tomorrow. What time did I say tomorrow is? Let me just check this again, his schedule, because this man's crazy. All right, tomorrow he is in Lancaster, and I'll go live at 4:30. So I'm going to miss the late games on the NFL, but I will see the Dolphins, and maybe they'll do something tomorrow. I hope you guys have a great Saturday evening. Be positive. Put on your Trump gear. Trump's going to win. Don't be afraid. No shame. Talk to you guys tomorrow at 4:30. Thanks a lot.